Look at the four of us. Inherently boring. Stinks like shit.
You know who doesn't smell? Ben Dixon over here.
Open your mouth. Don't. No.
Smells like a horny 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got one?
Giving birth. Giving birth.
I thought he was saying having a huge lunch and then doing a big poo.
Can't relax, can you? No. Have you ever been relaxed ever in your life?
No. Gus, I want you to thank the mods.
Stop it! It's not touchscreen.
Oh, my beer!
Don't bury your emotions. Share them with someone you love. What is chalk? Is it toxic? I had a dream. I went to Mandalay again. You're going on a journey of the mind.
Hello, welcome to Back Pocket. It is the 24th of March. It's a Thursday. You're watching Back Pocket coming at you live from the Loki Studios, starring Stephanie Ben Dixon,
A journey of the mind.
Peter Burns,
Hello.
Gus Ronald, and I'm your host, Nick Boy Richardson. And tonight on the show, things are going to get weird because Tiny Tina picked up some hitchhikers in Tokyo, and unfortunately for them, there is zero escape.
Oh, that one worked perfectly.
Great.
Wow, that almost sounded.
I want a narrative every time.
I want to watch that movie.
Play less games and have them all with normal names.
Yes.
And I can write you a story. Welcome everyone to Back Pocket. Oh my goodness, do you just have a terrible feeling that you've forgotten something? I have a terrible feeling that I haven't done something for the show tonight.
I'm not just worried that we're too loud.
Are we too loud?
I don't think so. I think, well, we're pushing it.
We forgot something before and we remembered it. So that's the thing that you forgot and you've now remembered it.
Yeah, maybe. I just as I was watching the video, I was just like,
Yeah,
there
I
is
feel
something
too.
massive that I haven't prepared or done.
You forgot to put pants on.
Oh my god.
You're wearing your pajamas, mate.
wearing my
This is a professional program
2 out of 4
with double ME.
have ripped. It like where the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, but this is in vogue, mate. Wearing your pajamas on a television show?
Peter
This
asked
is
me.
television.
Peter asked me if he should wear his blue shoes today, and
I
I was like, yeah. And then I looked at them with the outfit, and I was like, oh.
Too much blue.
It's just that they were very bold. You know, he's been stressing about these shoes because they're too blue, and I was encouraging him
just
to
gonna
wear
give
them.
them
And
away.
Seen
today,
any shoes?
and
No,
today
I've had them
I
for
talked him out of
years.
it, and I feel bad.
You
But
feel bad?
It's just that the shirt is a lot, and if you want my honest fashion advice, that was it.
I always do. And so I chose to continue wearing the shirt because it was already on my body.
I know, but then I feel like you're never going to wear the shoes, and now I've just scared you
Good
away
point.
from wearing
I'm going to
them
give them away.
anymore.
Can I make a suggestion?
If there's someone in chat
No.
who is a size...
Wait, did you buy the shoes for him?
No, I bought them.
No, he bought them. They're just cool shoes. It's just that they're bright, and so he's like,
Oh, I know those shoes. Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Just next time, just wear the shoes.
US 11.
No. I mean, just wear the shoes.
oh,
Oh.
I see.
US 11.
Are they like Sonic Blue shoes?
What the fuck?
If
am I
anyone
drinking?
wants them, first person
They are
is
like a
US
bright
11.
cobalt.
Old mate Dave can squeeze into an 11. Damn, I'm a 10. No, Peter, not.
Peter, this
Tom
is not
Harmony.
like- this is not a space for you to flog your shit.
I'm
for
gonna.
fashion.
Ben, can you please get Tom's home address? And I'm gonna send you 2 shoes, a left and a right.
Send him one first.
like a-
see if he wants to. If
It's
he
gonna be
wants,
in like a bag.
it's like a shit
don't have
hostage
the box
situation.
anymore.
I'm gonna send you
I
one
have
shoe.
boxes. I've ordered a lot of shoes recently.
That's true. You got okay. We can put it in. We can put
But
it
I've
in.
ordered a lot of the same
shoe
shoe
box.
because I like.
The Destiny shoe?
No, but I've ordered. There's a particular type of sneaker that I like, and I can't find the version of it that I like all the time, so I ordered 3 of them.
I do struggle
That's
to
good
throw
move.
out a shoebox because it feels like a really useful thing, and it's like usually the best quality of a box you've had in a while, and you're like, "This is a good box.
This is
I'll keep it for something."
You know, what's
And
in a
it's-
nice box. What? Iron with a racing strap on it.
No, they're more
decent
like-
boxes.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay, but a
A shoebox is good for holding treasured memories.
That's the thing. You also think that's what they're always for.
It'd
and
make
then
a
you're
good
like, you only need one.
Little bits of old skin.
Dexter
Slide under
put
the
those
bed.
vials in a box before he upgraded to that nice
A refrigerated
wooden
unit
box in his-
when he was
yeah.
just a child, just sampling with murder.
By the way, I'm very sorry. Will, I drank one of your awful ciders.
I've had the
I
other
thought it was a beer. And I took a sip and I was like,
That's a
that is
wild ride.
horrible.
Will,
Yeah, horrible.
Will is not going to rush to the studio from another state.
I reckon he would.
This is going to be the thing that brings him back. Oh my god!
I'm drinking it, Will. Oh, come home to daddy.
Come home and we'll lap up all your goodies.
Yes.
Yeah, apple
Good,
sweetness.
good.
This is actually, it is a little bit more, like 10% worse a show that Will isn't in the studio over there.
Yeah.
That's what we're missing.
You know what?
We're
It's just-
We forgot Will.
Will, Kevin.
He's outside in the rain.
It's just his eye rolls and withering stares that I miss. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just.
Also,
it's
catching him off guard and it being a 50-50 chance of being a complete like panic or just calm, as you said, just a calm look down the camera. Like
very-
Pete switches to him
very good
and he's
at
just like,
holding it together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because Will, in his day-to-day, is the most accommodating, cheery, lovely person to be around. But on camera, real little snarky minx.
It's cute. Though. I like
But
it.
I feel
he's
like
a yes and fuck
I'm
you.
happy. I'm not complaining. I'm saying it's
Yes,
like it's so funny when he turns it on. He really turns it on.
No, I love that because I feel like for a lot of people, particularly introverts, which many of us are,
Mm-hmm.
contrary to popular belief,
Yep.
camera stuff is an opportunity for you to kind of be that person and get it all out of your system so that you can go back to being a recluse.
It's the two masks. We all
When the
wear
cameras are
masks.
off, when the camera's
Metaphor
off,
is pink.
I'm like a nervous, weird mess. When the camera's off, you get this.
A nervous, weird mess. Vesuvius says, "Can someone let me know if they could see this, please?" There you go.
You did it.
But then BuriBuri is like, can see,
Yeah.
can confirm.
And then Dolphin
we
Pad
can
says,
see that.
"Will turns me on," and then someone said, "Will turns Nick on." Confirmed.
The way his
all
hair's
this is
going, he's
true.
turning all of us on.
God, he's looking.
I'm
good.
trying to do it myself. I'm at the point now where it's a bit too long
You're-
to whip back.
you're whippy
But I
again.
saw Will, I was like, oh, I want
What
that.
did I say about you today?
You saw Will and you went, I want that.
No, I was talking to to Nick about something completely unrelated, and he stared me in the eyes while I was telling him something more important
Yes,
about work.
how
and
dare
he's
I
like,
pay attention while you're talking?
But it was just like it threw me. He stared me down and went, "You look good," and I was like, "Oh."
Does
And
that
then he
kiss
went,
you on the mouth?
and then he went, "Your hair's all full and your eyes are dark," and I was like, "And your face is long."
Yeah.
and I was
Like,
like,
do you reckon his hair is full and his eyes are looking dark and his face is
and my face is long. I didn't know what to do with that
His face is
information.
looking longer for sure.
Sorry, this
I don't
is.
think his face looks longer. I think he's got character hair now. Do you know what I mean? He's
He does.
Like, he's protagonist in a particular film, maybe rom-com.
Maybe rom-com. Yeah. Before you used to be sidekick, you're veering up to be not leading man, but
leading man.
boyfriend of leading woman who will leave him for leading man.
Yes,
shit.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Or,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or-
You're what's his face? You're Cyclops.
Oh, James Marsden.
You're James Marsden.
I'm James Marsden.
fucking
Ah,
love James
Dude,
Marsden.
everyone loves James
He's a
Marsden except for
babe.
Hollywood, who never cast him as the main role in anything.
You know
Yeah.
what? He's got such a beautiful voice as well. That's what it's like. There is like a man can be like 30% hot,
Yep.
and then he sings well, and I'm like
What are you singing?
110% hot.
110.
Enchanted.
He sung an Enchanted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was the prince.
I was
Oh,
like,
darling.
that shit second act in
Oh,
X-Men.
Thank you.
Last Stand. I'll take it.
Very
I'll take it.
kind. Very kind. You can have it back though. No? Okay. That was very sweet. She just presented it. Well done. Thank you.
Scotty, I finally had my moment. and you
and you
walked
came in
You
and-
ruined James Marsden's scene.
And you came in all Matthew McConaughey and just took her. You just took her from him. It was
No, I like
perfect.
it. It's almost like
Oh, it's done. The moment's over.
No, you look great.
I
Let's
haven't-
fuck at the
Thank
post
you.
show.
I haven't quite got like it's like a particular era. It's not quite 90s because that would be longer.
That'd be Hugh Grant.
And it would be parted in the middle.
No, I was thinking more like yeah.
No,
What have I
put it back.
done? What have I done?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but you look awesome.
Thank
You
you.
look like Mr. Darcy in the 21st century.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that wasn't Hugh Grant? No, I'm thinking
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth.
Yeah. You look nothing like Colin Firth.
I'm okay with that. I think
Colin
he's a
Firth's
great looking guy.
good-looking
No, but
guy.
if I was trying to emulate that, I'm like, he looks nothing like me. So if you said a little
Stanley
bit, I'd
Tucci
be
would have
great.
something to say to you right now.
Oh, that movie was amazing.
Yep. Okay, good. Is this
Kingsman.
This was a good start to. This was a good.
That's
start
Mark
to the show.
Strong.
That's Mark Strong. That's Mark Strong.
Fucking hell.
Can I bring up one more thing?
You're going to?
Yeah.
We can't stop
one's
you.
Did I talk about the chip thing last?
Remember we were worried this was going to be a long show?
Shut up.
What's the chip thing?
So, I want to say that I know, having worked in retail and customer service before, it's a horrible job. because of the people that you need to work with and management
Work with.
and the hours. Sorry, like deal with.
Yep.
And management and the hours and the pay. Everything except for that, it's great.
Yeah.
So I don't want to throw these people under the bus. But when you go to a fast food outlet, like I did today, I went to a KFC
Fucking guy.
and I ordered myself a chips and a little gravy because I need some potato to dip my potato in. And I said, "Can I get extra salt on those chips?" They're like, "Certainly." And I watched through the window where they scoop the chips up, they put the chips in the thing, and then they put extra salt on top of the chips that they've already put in the thing. And it's like, that's not extra salt. You just added extra salt to the top 5% of chips.
Oh, I see.
What you need to scoop salt and then put it in there. Putting it on top just dumps all this extra salt on top of the box of the chips. And
The
then
fact
so
that they
only the
said
top
yes to your
ones-
request is enough.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's
Fast
no
food.
It is
Sorry.
on extra salt is on the docket that you can get at KFC. It is in the system.
Are you paying for extra salt?
No, because it's salt and I'm the customer and I'm always right.
Okay. But it's in. Are you talking about? Is it in a rectangular box or is it in like
You're
a?
getting okay boomed pretty hard in the chat.
I don't give a fucking
Is
shit.
it in a carton? Or
Yeah, it's
is
in a carton. So I guess
Does it have a top?
yeah,
It's the lot.
So theoretically,
KFC one. You can shake it.
you would put the salt on
they
the
always
top,
stoke it-
shake it all around, and the salt would mix.
It
through.
would move down. It would move down through the chips.
would
No,
Yeah.
because the way
They
because
don't
As
really
you
have
pull
a
the chip
method.
out,
They don't
it
have
goes
another
down
method
into
of
the-
adding more
stick it out of the top. You fold it up. You can't. There's not enough movement for that to shake around.
Are you
Very-
suggesting he put a few chips in, shake a little bit of salt, put a few chips?
No.
more,
I saw him do
take
the
a little bit of
scoop,
salt?
and I'm
the
saying
scoop, the scoop
put
with the
salt
V
on
where they
the
do that,
scoop.
and they could.
So scoop salt, put it in the thing.
They're probably told not to put salt on the
But
scoop
then aren't
for
you
risk
putting
of getting
extra
somewhere
salt
else.
into the rest of the mix, and
Who
other
could
people
possibly
don't want that?
Can I know it's going to go long, but I'll quickly add. My one KFC request was once I thought I was like, I got a 3-piece feed and I went, I'm going to do it. Hi, can I get the 3-piece feed? And can I get 3 drumsticks in the 3-piece feed?
Oh.
And she went, sure. Anyway, I got the box. I walked away. I got 3 ribs. No
Oh,
drumsticks.
wow.
And I didn't open it until I walked out. I was like, I don't know if that was like a fuck you.
She looked you in the eye.
Yeah, or like maybe she said yes, but the guy doing the chicken in the back was like, no, fuck that. No one gets the drumsticks. I was just like, what a power move. I was
Yeah.
like, I'll never go back.
Can I say the most offended I've been in the last 4 minutes
Yep.
was when you said, I got chips? Who says chips? It's technically correct.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get some chips
You get a small,
or
you get a
or
small,
a
a
box
medium, or
of
a
chips.
Yeah.
But getting a
He was
chip
removing
sounded
the, he
weird
was
to me.
removing the word.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
An
that's
order
fair.
of chips, a box
got
of
a-
chips.
That was
a
the only
serve of
problematic
chips.
thing I said.
Yeah, that's all I had.
That was it. Yeah.
That's the only
No.
feedback I had.
I'm happy with that. For everyone out there who's like, oh, they don't get paid enough for that. I am aware of that. I'm just saying, take some pride in your work because that's what I did when I worked at Video Easy. You want me to give you a DVD?
Video Easy
like
is
is
not-
upside down.
I worked in
no, you don't.
I worked in a video
want me to
store because I
help
never
find
wanted to
something
work
going
in fast food. They are very different jobs. One is a lot easier than the other.
I worked so many like weird food service and retail jobs, and I was awful in all of them. I was the worst space cadet person that you could ever
I can't imagine
God,
learning
behind
anything
the
from
counter
you.
and
Oh,
dealing
God.
with money. It was
Oh my
just
god!
like-
All your weaknesses: focus, dealing with money, food prep.
I once worked in a fashion retail store for 2 weeks, and it was commission based. So it was like, I mean, I got a salary obviously, but you had to sell a certain amount per day.
You should have seen how much salt she put on
to stay
those
there.
dresses.
And like a big part of it was just like being aware of what's happening in the store, like greeting the customers when they came in. And it was like, if you've got nothing to do, you have to just look busy. So they'd be like, just rearrange
fold
the
things.
things.
Yep.
So I was so fucking bored. And in my head, I was like dragons and like on this and what I'm going to do tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like sort of like moving shirts back and forth. And my boss would be like, Stephanie. I'd be like, She'd be like, customers. And I'd be like, where? Got it. Yep.
But I bet for you it's like
2
a
weeks.
Yeah.
But I bet for you it's like a superpower that you'd go in at 9 and be like, I'll fold 2 shirts. And then they'll be like, Steph, what? It's 4 o'clock. Like, is it? Wow.
But then I lost the job because I didn't sell enough. Because
I was gonna say, did you get fired?
You got to be pushing out. I got fired. I didn't make the because here's the thing.
Never been
like
fired.
it got to the point where like I'd get to like 4 o'clock, and there would be like I'd check how much I'd sold, and it wouldn't be nearly enough.
Yeah.
And then someone would come in and then be like, "Do you feel like this should be a different size?" And I would look on the rack and I'd see we didn't have a different size, and I'd be like, "Maybe." Or
Maybe
she'd be
not.
like,
So
"Are
you were forcing
Well, that's the thing.
ill-fitting garments
No,
on
but I
unsuspecting patrons.
I couldn't. That's the thing. I couldn't do it. And or
Oh,
they'd be
okay.
like,
Morally.
are these shoes gonna like stretch? And I'd be like, they're not leather.
And the
so
boss in the back
probably
is
not.
like,
yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Sell the shoes.
Sell the shoes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're like, but
and I was just like,
Put those 9s in a 7, Ben Dixon, and
Yeah.
meet commission.
I can't do
sell
it.
them the blue shoes even though no one wants them.
It wasn't for
Oh
me.
no!
I was good in like back of the office menial jobs with a pricing gun where I could just space out and just go clink.
Everything's on sale.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they don't want you spaced out while you're pricing things. $11, $1.
111. It all
Good.
comes out in the wash.
All right, this all makes sense. Everything's falling into place. Okay, we should talk about some video games because God, we have a long show.
Yeah.
We've got so much talking to do, and we wasted so much time listening to one man be right about.
Have we
chips.
done everything we need to do at the
Our
start?
chips. You're right about our chips.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Have we considered?
Well, no, are we, is everyone who
Oh, no, there's-
supports the show
Removing
been
another
told they're
segment
supporting
and
the
making
show?
this one longer.
Yeah,
That's true.
I was resetting
Okay.
so that the sponsor of tonight's program was separate from the me ragging on retail employees and Steph defrauding large businesses.
But I also don't know if you're going to start going,
Oh, right, okay, yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
Tonight's episode of Back Pocket is sponsored by Aussie Broadband. We are powered by Aussie Broadband, and we could not be more excited because it is bloody good broadband. You too could be powered by Aussie. Check it out. Our Twitch panels below for exclusive offers for Back Pocket viewers. You're going to hear more about those offers later on in the show. And you're going to hear more about Aussie later on in the show. And you're going to hear more from you guys later on in the show in relation to a thing with Aussie. There you go. We did it. We cleanly separated the sponsor thing from the chip talk.
my home internet heard
no.
me talk about thinking of going to Aussie and has like slightly got less shit,
Oh, yeah.
but not good enough for me to be like, no, you've done your damage. I'm
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I can't
upgrade."
legit say wait.
Just the mention.
The damage has been done. I don't care that maybe you were stable on a day you're usually not stable, but no, I'm going to get better broadband.
If you have a day that you're usually not stable, you have shit internet.
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's so true.
You can't just you shouldn't have to just.
It's
learn
bloody
to
shit
live
internet
with
is
it.
what I have, but I need Aussie broadband.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, we will get to that later on in the show, but before that, you said what you'll be playing, presented by BuriBuri, bloody good lawyer. BuriBuri, that's what I hear. I only have nice things to say about her.
The castle of you.
I'm worried that I'm going to run into her at PAX.
Oh yeah, she'll stab you.
Yeah, she will, and she'll get away with it too.
Yeah, no, she knows
she'll
the
defend
ways
herself.
around it.
And then when you pull the
Imagine-
knife out your back, you'll be like, there's a lawsuit stabbed through it.
Imagine
Oh, no,
if
You've been
if she's at PAX wearing the big flower crown that she has in her picture, and in the back of every room when you're doing panels, she's just standing there
Or-
staring at
or-
you in a white dress.
With
She
a
knows-
tray of cordial.
she knows you'll be avoiding the flower crown, and so you'll be looking out for it in crowds, but then she'll Thomas Crown Affair the whole thing. And she'll start sending out other flower crowns, and you'll be panicking. And then they'll start playing that song. of
Coming for you, Nick.
I've never seen the Thomas Crown Affair, but are there a lot of crowns?
How many people get that reference?
No
Guys,
one.
it's you and me. That's
Wait,
it.
really? And not because they wear crowns. They wear bowler hats.
Oh my god.
There's a
Was
scene
it
where
Pierce
it's
Brosnan?
Yeah, it was.
in the remake.
Yeah.
It's
In the
an
remake.
old film too.
Yeah, that lots of people. There's lots of people wearing bowler hats, and, and
you can't
security
draw
gets
Winky's
confused.
face with that hair.
With that hair, because it winks under the eye.
Yeah.
It's this one.
Oh god, that's funny. God damn, you don't get a Thomas Crown Affair reference many times, and it's never a good one, except for that one. That was a great one. Okay, thank you very much, BuriBuri, for presenting. I'm just saying what you've been playing, and let's start off with you, Gus.
Sure.
What have you been playing?
Thomas
this-
Crown Affair. What the fuck?
I was just reading the synopsis to the Thomas Crown.
Oh my god, Steph, this is not your retail job. You're on camera right now.
Come on, Steph, customers.
Yeah.
I have been playing Ghostwire Tokyo, which came out very recently, I believe. Last week.
Yeah, it was like I think everything came out on Friday, right?
This
It was
week.
24th and 25th.
Yeah.
Oh, they're out today. Sorry, they're out this week, 24th,
Yeah.
25th.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am playing this. It is, I guess the best way to describe it is a bit of an immersive sim, in the sense that it's, it feels like one, but it isn't. Okay, I started in the wrong foot. Let me back to it. This is a Bethesda published game. It is by the team who worked on Evil Within, some of the developers who worked on that, and it is a very, very unique premise for a game, at least I've found in the
Tango,
first
right?
few
Tango
hours.
Softworks?
Yeah. You basically play a young man who wakes up in Tokyo after a motorbike accident, and all the people in Tokyo have been disintegrated by a large spectral fog, so there's no one left in the city. And
Love a spectral fog.
It's really cool. It's a really amazing setting. The one thing I will say
mind.
is that the setting of this is just sensational. The way they've done a really living, breathing, well, empty Tokyo that is incredibly, sort of faithful to how Shibuya and all these areas of like dense inner city Tokyo are. But you wake up and there's no one left, but there are these sort of very Japanese spirits running around the place that you have to fight against because you're hunting down your sister, who you and her have some kind of...
Trying to find your sister. You're not hunting.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Well, she's... every story you go looking for her is she's further away each time.
She's in another castle.
Exactly. But along that way, you find yourself...
skyscraper.
Yeah.
you find yourself inhabited by the spirit of a very grumpy man who was working on dealing with all these spirits. He's also dead. He's found his way into you, and he empowers you with all these spiritual combat powers, which then you have to learn to get along with him as you move around Tokyo, sucking up spirits to deposit into phone booths, a la a very sort of Japanese Ghostbusters. And along the way, you are kind of playing, I want to say like a Japanese John Wick. Sorry, not John Wick. Who's the other one? Constantine.
Yep.
Japanese Constantine.
Okay.
You're using the word Japanese, a lot.
Oh, well, it's just like, okay, well, it's in Japan.
We can see that.
Sure. Well, I will... Sure.
Because he's
Okay, the thing I will say is that all of the powers and everything that you use, it is richly ingrained in like Japanese culture and spirituality. So there's heaps of things in there that I'm totally not familiar with.
Very Japanese.
Yeah.
Sure. Things like that
Japanese shrubbery.
Well, everything's to do with shrines, torii gates. There's types of these paper dolls which people use to like go to festivals of the dead, and they're what you're using. I'm not going to pronounce any of them right.
I want to be on your side for this one. Multifish said, "Well, they didn't name it Ghostwire Adelaide, did they?"
And there is a lot to take in this game in the first like 3 or 4 hours, and part of that is the gameplay systems. It is UI heavy. It's everything I hate about learning a game in the first few hours. It gives you pop-ups. It's those pop-ups that stop the game to give you huge boxes of text that you have to read. It's teaching you all these systems really quickly, both the combat, both the way you level up, and what your goal is. And it does nothing graceful about the way it's all shown on the HUD and the way the minimap works. It is even the way your vision sees through everything and just gives you markers and quest markers. You use your spectral vision to see everything at once. So I was very ready to put this game down at about the 2-hour mark because it's very linear. It does a very clunky job of teaching you of getting you through that first sort of bit of narrative. The second it does take the training wheels off.
Can I just say, just before you do that, because I've played a little bit of this as well. Have you, Pete?
No.
Have you checked it out yet?
No.
So I'm the only other one. I did put it down before the 2-hour mark, so I don't want to yuck the yum that comes after it.
Go for it.
Which was, the beginning of this game is awful. I actually think
it's very
it
clunky.
Is so... Everything, it constantly takes you away from playing the game for massive stretches of time, doing things where I'm like, this would be cool to do right now, but instead you're showing me a cutscene of doing this, and I'm just doing these little bits of stuff. It's so bitsy and really just like... I haven't played enough to actually give it a proper impression, but that first hour and a half, I was just like, oh, I cannot continue with this. So I'm glad that you did.
And the whole time, I knew you'd mentioned that earlier in the week. I actually really think you need to jump back into this because once you get let loose on larger sections of the city, Japan, Tokyo,
Thanks for clarifying.
There aren't that many systems in play, but it is enough that it is very Moorish. It is incredibly dense. I just can't get over how beautifully designed it is. Graphically, it's a very nice game. It's some great lighting.
Very wet.
Very wet, lots of shiny surfaces and neon, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But under a microscope, it's not fantastic. But I would say just the design of the place, the way that it feels so realized, and that there is detail just absolutely everywhere. it's very hard to not go around the next corner and just keep seeing what's around, especially when there's a really great eeriness of like, it's a spooky night where no one's around and I can hear jazz in a cafe. It's like, that's quite unsettling. And then the enemy types, as you're seeing,
The best time jazz is unsettling.
but the enemy types have a very cool eeriness about them, very Slender Man, very like Japanese schoolgirls without heads, like weird businessmen marching around. Like there's a weird Netflix show based on an anime I watched, which I've forgotten the name, that was a weird vibe where it's like monsters in a city in the middle of Japan that people are just being hunted down by.
That's
like
every anime.
but like a rolling blob head down the main road.
No, it's
stuff.
still every anime.
That's true.
That
Okay,
happened in
so
Panama.
it's it's not what I'm used to when it comes to this kind of like unsettling horror vibe to it, and I really love it. I really dig it. I love how all the powers are over the top. You see like pulling spirits out of people using spectral strings and all that kind of stuff. It looks horrible when it's all happening. I see us watching it, and I'm like, there's moments where you're watching it, and there's just so many particle effects, and there's so much being thrown at you.
There's so much visually going on screen, and then there's like and then there's HUD as well.
I remember
and
being
it's like there's a lot.
I was a little disappointed when I first saw gameplay footage of this after its announcement, because I was like, I thought this would be a far more moodier, slower paced, methodical game. But when you're actually playing it, the feeling of zapping and moving around and juggling all your elements and pulling spirits out.
It's a first-person shooter.
It is a first-person shooter, just done with this great little spin that doesn't look great, but feels really fun, and I got really
almost like
into it.
aesthetically, they're at odds with the kind of spooky, dark, like noir ghost aesthetic and like the neon city thing.
Yeah.
And they've kind of sandwiched it together in a way that is a color explosion that feels
Which
a bit confused.
I found it quite reassuring in the way that it never really feels like it's actually trying to be spooky or scary. It's just like unsettling. And I
Right.
think the powers do that as well. They make you feel like you are quite superpowered very early on. So at no point am I playing this thinking I don't want to proceed because I'm like, it's a bit eerie and I don't want to know what's going to happen, which does happen to me in horror games. So I liked that. I felt the need to drive forward. There's things like you can grapple up to the tops of buildings because there's like spectral flying creatures that you can just zip up to, and then you can hover around the world using a sort of glide. And all of a sudden, I'm like, this is better than Dying Light 2. Like I'm parkouring around.
So how open
Tokyo.
is the world?
Really open.
Yeah,
like
okay.
it's a full city that you then go and open these torii gates to remove the fog and move deeper into.
What's the story like?
It's weak. It's like when the cutscenes are happening, I totally tune out. It's these moody characters saying like, you don't know what the mystery is and what's going to happen and where's your sister and you're tied to this somehow. And I'm like, I turned off the American voices and went back to the Japanese straight away because it's just far more moodier without these like, not bad, but just, you know, it never feels great having the translated voice work. But then there are some great moments like we're seeing here, and even just a little further on, there are some gems of story missions where I think if Will skips even a little further along from here, there are some beautiful design elements where you go into like a ghostly world that feels very Control. It's like all these sort of strange physics puzzles and just like cool camera effects and all this kind of stuff. And I really gel with it. I just think it's a cool, unique setting that I haven't run around before in and felt these levels of like, I thought it was a jumping platform puzzle.
No,
looks like a
we're
jump. But
wondering what you landed on halfway through that
Me
jump.
too.
Yeah.
But at this point, you were just playing something because it's just taking you on a trip.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of these moments in the story missions. And I think knowing that there are these bits later on, it's a nice feeling to jump from this stuff to the quick fire action combat in the streets where there's just hundreds of collectibles, all sorts of fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely into this stuff. It was the idea that I was stepping into quote unquote an open world of just going like,
Yep.
oh god, all of this is so just go here and collect the thing and go turn the thing in.
I have open world fatigue, but I will give it credit. It definitely does bite-sized chunks that open up a lot. I'm not going to say slower, but you only open up very small sections at a time, so it doesn't have Elden Ring / Horizon, like, oh my god, it's so much. You just do little sections, and I'm about 8 hours in, and
wow.
I'm
nearly done.
I really sunk into it. Like,
The shop thing is cool.
well, that's you pulling the spirits out, and you get an extra boost.
I like
And
it a lot.
I'm really intrigued to see what the next areas are. The enemy types are getting creepier as I go further in.
The Umbrella Men.
And we'll talk about later score-wise. I think it's a much better game than people are sort of giving it credit for at the moment and not just because I saw my picks. There it is.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what I forgot. Good. Yep.
But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's.
There's no way you're having fun with this piece of shit.
I really am. I really am.
Peter.
I'm just kidding. I haven't played it at all.
You're nearly going to finish it. I heard it's about 12 hours long. So you're
Really?
Yeah.
I heard 20. Okay.
Okay, maybe the person I heard it from did just rush through.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. I'm glad. I've seen mixed reviews, but the people who like it really like it, and then the people who don't like it don't go like it's awful. They're just kind of like it's the normal open world stuff.
And I'm like a self-confessed, I don't know if Japanophile. Like I love the idea of exploring Tokyo. I love that in the Persona series and stuff, and I'm getting that itch scratched from this. So it's like that's a reason for me to want to run around in it more than Elden Ring right now. It's like I just love being in Tokyo. It's very cool. So I
Where's
think
Tokyo again?
It's in
So Japanese city,
south of
yeah. It's like Japanese Sydney. No, it's Japanese Melbourne because it's wet. Yeah.
I think some people who do love this kind of game will love this. I was going to say love Japan. Really like.
Were you also going to say you think people who love this will love this?
No, what you were saying, the positive reviews. I think people are saying it's like they're getting a lot more out of it.
If you like this kind of thing, then you're in.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
To be fair, there's a lot in there I'm not going to experience. There's a lot of stuff that it is dense in terms of. There's so many side quests and stuff.
Did you do the toilet paper one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the toilet paper one?
Oh, there's lots of little side quests. They're just people, they're floating spectrals who are like, help me by doing a little quest, a fetch quest or something. And some of them are very strange.
Is the person on the toilet at the time?
Yeah, I'm going to spoil it because it's
That's funny.
There's a guy. There's a ghost on a toilet, and
Toilet ghost!
and the ghost can't move
paper.
on until it does a poo. And you need to get it toilet paper, and
The
you need to
final
get
release.
it more toilet paper so that it can pass and then pass. Yeah, there you go.
That's funny. I like it.
Good. Ghostwire Tokyo. Excellent.
Those
That's
little
fun.
moments are often the what make the game when if you get enough of those in there, like the crazy
'cause-
sex crazed Viking in Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And Evil Within games didn't have. I don't remember like a beat of humor in those.
No, I don't.
No.
They were very serious.
Yeah.
The director of those games didn't direct this one, though. I
Okay,
think
right.
this was a younger team that was brought on to kind of flex something a bit different.
Yeah, okay.
And
Cool.
yeah, there are a lot more lighter moments. The only other thing of note is that because all the people are gone, all the dogs are free to run around the city, and just all the little Shibu
There are
dogs.
Shiba Inus.
Yeah, Shibu Inus everywhere, and they're just barking, and you run up to them, and because you've got some spectral powers, you can read their minds and talk to them, and you pat them and give them dog food, and they'll lead you to rewards. And then it's like the dogs are super faithful and great at finding things. The cats are just like, They go for like pat cats, like no. Or it's like, and then the other ones are running the stores. The cats with like 3 tails are just floating in the. You go into a 7-Eleven and there's just a cat licking itself floating behind the counter. It's like, me.
Wait, do you need to buy things from it?
Yes.
So everyone disappeared. In a normal scenario, you could just take whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the cats have gone, I'm going to swoop into this capitalist society and keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing. It's
Good. Gabe's like,
cool.
we got all this currency. Someone has to take it. Floating ghost cat, you're up. Floating ghost cat, you are still.
The dogs are like, where are humans? And the cats are like, I can.
So, what are you buying from a vendor in that game?
It's. What do you think? It's
Noodles.
You're buying noodles.
Yeah.
And
Like,
like
is it health? Is it upgrades?
you're buying health. You're buying quest items. You're buying things that you can use to capture more spirits.
It's
yeah.
just lots of
But
food packages.
Lots and lots
Yeah.
of food that you look at the pictures
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, I remember having that.
Like
That's
an
really
Amazon.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The
awesome.
sticky rice ball things. You're like, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Nick of Time in the chat said now it's a catalyst society.
Oh,
Very good. Too clever. Too clever.
Okay, Ghostwire Tokyo out tomorrow. Peter Burns. What else? is
out today.
tomorrow? Huh?
Peter Burns out today.
Oh, right. Okay, good.
We talked over the top of each other, overlapped, ruined the whole bit. Fuck, that's deflating. Isn't it?
Gotta get all that energy back up. Wait. So that's Ghostwire Tokyo out tomorrow. Peter Burns.
Out today.
Hey.
He tried again.
I played Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Also out today, tomorrow.
I left it off the game plan.
You left off the
It
game
was
plan.
on the list and I forgot to read it.
And also one of them.
Forgot to read
and-
it.
On the list.
Yeah, I put,
Yeah, you forgot to read it.
That's yeah.
Yeah, you
What
put it-
happened?
I looked at the
Because I
script afterwards, I
rearrange them
noticed.
all and I write a little blurb
Okay,
and I do
yeah,
things.
yeah.
And somewhere in that I've like
You
deleted
kind of,
it.
you kind of had made it a non sequitur on the back of it. It was like you were referencing on the back of the last thing you did. So it was attached to the paragraph of the game before, and you obviously just saw
And
that.
Peter was behind the camera going,
Ignored
Stephanie, game releases. And you're like, what?
And there was also Forgotten with an R, wasn't it? And I was like, in the graphics, for Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Oh, yeah.
Goat.
There's no R in it. And I was like, how did this happen? And then I went and looked at the script, and it wasn't in the hyperlink. So I don't know how it got to... An R disappeared at some point in the last week.
Wow.
Because the hyperlink existed still. And Will just copied and pasted the thing, I'm sure. So that's how
weird.
that happened.
In the Forgotten Land.
An
Forgotten
insight into the riveting
And Will would have been like,
process
that's a
of
dumb
making-
title.
making a TikTok video.
Anyway,
So that's Ghostwire Tokyo out tomorrow. Pete Burns.
out today. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is the latest Borderlands game, and is spun off from the Tiny Tina's Dungeon.
Yeah, there was a
Keep thing,
DLC for
which is
3.
DLC for 3, which people adored, and so they're like, you know what, we should pursue this. They have, and they've made a more melee-focused fantasy setting, medieval fantasy setting Borderlands game. And it is still very much a Borderlands game. But I do appreciate that there's a bit more melee in it. It actually feels like it's a fun way to engage with Borderlands, which I didn't enjoy 3. And I'm not a lover of the series. I couldn't tell you the differences between 2 and 3, or why I enjoyed 2 more than I enjoyed 3.
I don't think there are differences between 2 and 3.
I think
they are.
Well, no,
in
2 was
terms
good.
Of, in terms
I
of what?
don't enjoy the shooting in this game. I think the guns are fun, like the weird guns like one gun that you throw that throws itself at people, but you still have the gun in your hand.
Yep.
Funny. Clever. But like actually physically shooting, I find frustrating and unsatisfying.
It's it's very much a PC shooter in how it feels.
It's small, which is
Yeah.
how I always describe it. It's like
Small?
small and very pointed.
Yeah.
It's like
it requires precise aim.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you a lot. Like Destiny, which a lot of other people in the community play, and is similar in a lot of ways to Borderlands in
PvE co-op.
yeah.
shooter,
But Destiny's hitboxes are much more lenient.
which is what I like.
Guided projectiles, all that kind of stuff. Destiny.
But also,
where it's
yes,
like
bigger hit.
I
hit
I
areas,
feel like,
but-
and I know I'm old, but I feel like a lot of the time, even when the screen is this close, I'm squinting. You know?
And this has the same kinds of things as Borderlands, as Destiny, of like, oh, this gun shoots weird, and so I'm learning to shoot with this new gun now,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Mhm.
And they're all like crossbows, and it's all set up with like a nice lick of humor, a self-awareness.
You're
that it's
playing-
like, you're playing a Borderlands game. It's a fantasy world, but I gave you a gun because you're playing Borderlands.
It's like a
What is-
D&D campaign.
But that's
Yes.
that's the
Oh,
other
Okay, I was asking
yeah.
for the context.
If we
yeah.
jump right to the start of the clip, Will, which we may have missed, it's you're standing around the table with Tiny Tina across the way.
Yep.
And she's GMing, DMing this
Campaign session. Yeah.
and she is talking to you reasonably consistently throughout the campaign. And that plays in a really fun way. I think Tiny Tina is a great character.
Totally.
Ashley Birch is amazing as Tiny Tina.
You know
Yeah,
how
an
you know how I said at the beginning of the week when we did the news, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm looking forward to this, but I'm a bit worried that maybe the humor will be grating or something.
Yeah.
Because maybe I've just outgrown it. I have not.
Oh, you played a bit?
I played an
Yeah,
hour of it.
yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And she this is a fucking voice performance, Ashley Birch.
Yeah.
More of this, please.
Yeah.
Less of the Aloy. Like every time she says "baby," I just want to give her a little hug. She's really funny.
Yeah, she's great in it, and there's obviously a lot of they obviously played a lot in the voice booth because it doesn't feel. You can't script some of the stuff that happens. It's
Yeah,
just
right.
really nice and organic. And the thing that having a GM DM allows them to do is manipulate the world in front of you. And it'll break the fourth wall
Yeah,
of the
cool.
video game and go like, there's not a bridge here, but I want you to actually go over there because there's a cool thing I put over there and you can't get there now. So I'm going to put a new bridge down. And so a bridge just forms in front of you. Because it's like,
Yeah.
I actually am going to cheat a little bit here because I want you to go and
It's
see that.
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the right kind of setting for a series that has kind of probably done its run with the attitude in space kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like that humor, I think, was definitely grading by 2 for me. And then I heard not great things from 3, and it's
But
like
film coming out soon, it's going to reignite the passion and bring new people to the
the
franchise.
damage is done, much like bad internet. The damage is already done. And I'm like, then playing the expansions. I love the Aussie one, not the Aussie one, the one by the Aussie.
Pre-sequel?
It was set. It
Pre-sequel.
was kind of
set kind of
Aussie, yeah.
Aussie and had the
pre-sequel
Boganella
again,
and all that
yeah.
kind of
It's a
stuff.
lot of people's
Like,
favorite is a pre-sequel.
that was mine. But it's like, even then, I was still kind of like, I'm a bit done with this sort of, sci-fi attitude. And this seems like a...
I feel like there's just enough here that is different to like it's still super Borderlandsy, but the fantasy thing is a fun new mode that you're like, or like tone
Totally,
that you're
yeah.
exploring.
But you're also
It
getting like...
visually is really, really beautiful as well. It has given them an excuse to go lush,
Yeah.
which Borderlands has shied away
so
from.
true, yeah.
It's
Very
like it's
brown
always
Borderlands.
like, yeah, it's brown, and when they try to do something more colorful, it's gross or gooey
Chemicals
or
or-
it's
Yeah,
chemically
yeah.
stuff.
Neon green or bright purple, and that's it.
Yeah,
This is like it's got grass and nice colors.
Yeah, totally. And the whole thing is wrapped together by this. And I've only played a little bit because I've been enjoying it, and I kind of want to co-op it. But so I stopped to try and I'm going to try and get some mates to buy it, and we can play it together. But or Nick, if you're keen.
Hey, yeah.
Look at this beautiful like, set piece.
Well, it's just
It's like a
it's
huge army
it'll
running over
never
the
not be
hills
fun
and-
to have a plot device where a narrator can get involved and start messing with the thing you're in. Like
Yeah.
it's always fun, and video games are so good at that. So
But
Is it 4-player co-op?
I think it's 3, maybe it's 4.
I'm
Maybe
not
they used to be
sure.
4.
Yeah, I feel like there were 4. Anyway, I didn't look, so I've just trying to convince everyone to buy it, and
Be awkward when
and we'll
3
make it
mates
fun.
say yes.
Yeah. There's a little like overworld, and you walk around in giant big head mode. There are 4 co-op. You walk around in big head mode, and to get between areas that are spaced far apart, rather than having like, so far I haven't encountered a massive open area. It's been quite linear, but in a way that feels nice. And to get to the next big city, you go into the overworld, and you like a classic old school Game Boy JRPG. Like I got to go over there, and I've got to avoid the enemies that pop up, like Final Fantasy kind of stuff. But it's just a nice lick of paint, and it's a very like arcadey kind of like thing. You're just bashing. It's very simple gameplay in that. When you get into a battle, you Pokemon style go into the fight, JRPG style go into the fight. So it's good. It's cool to navigate. There's like Borderlands has in the past been overwhelmingly obnoxious, and this is still kind of obnoxious in its design and how many different things you encounter really quickly. But I don't know. There's something about this one that's landing really nicely for me.
I think part of
Nice.
it could be that the obnoxiousness of Borderlands previously has often been like over the top, ridiculous machismo and violence and gore. Like everyone in that world loves blowing people up and all that sort of thing. And while that's still true here, I think that Tina's attitude is she's more like a badass adventure as
Yeah.
opposed to a violent, gory destruction thing. So
Yeah,
her
yeah.
thing is always putting you to be the coolest person in this environment and this scenario, as opposed to I'm gonna rip your head off
Yeah,
and
yeah.
say something really crass. Like, yeah. This is
Scotty,
dumb.
no, she's not Japanesing Borderlands.
You're right.
But there's the things that I've failed to mention so far. We just saw one of them is that the class that I rolled has like there's I think 5 classes you can pick at the start. They've all got different like spells
Who'd
and
you pick?
abilities. I picked like the axe dude.
Same.
Yeah, he's got like a big ground slam axe.
Yeah.
The camera jumps back into third person. You do kind of like this big kind of wedge AoE damage blast, which is sick. You pick up one of the slots in your inventory. You've still got your gun slots. You've got a slot for your melee weapon, which is a much more kind of valuable thing to be holding on to. You sprint into battle, slide, knock into things, kick them, stab them, and then the other thing you pick up tomes, spell tomes. And you don't need to be an arcanist You don't need to have high intelligence or whatever to be great at casting stuff. You just get a book and it's a weapon. So now I've got a Q ability and I can look at a thing and call a meteor from nowhere and it crashes down and everything.
Have they painted themselves into a corner where this is going to be the best fun way to play a Borderlands game? And now how do they make a Borderlands 4 or a regular sequel? Like, it seems like the things they're evolving into the series now are great, but are tied into the idea of being a D&D campaign or a unreliable narrator, fun, crazy setting.
I think
I'm cool with
it's
it.
just, I mean, it's really cool, but it's also just, like Pete said, different than the first three. So
Sure.
if they, for Borderlands 4, if
Added
you just do
different
something
things, but
that's
yeah.
different than Borderlands 1, 2, and 3, you're probably halfway there already.
I guess I'm just saying I've seen reviews of being generally positive to this, and it does seem to be the same. Yeah,
Fatigue from the original.
fatigue. Then given this, and people being like, "I like this so much more now," and it's just it's interesting for a series to
There's
go that way.
spell getting cast.
Yeah, and that stuff all looks amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, all the systems of Borderlands are still there. It's like, there's elemental stuff, there's like barrels of stuff lying around that you can use in battle. Like, you can kick them up in the air and kick them towards your enemy and shoot them as they're flying towards your enemy and that kind of stuff. And yeah, like, again, the loot and shoot, Borderlands was kind of the king of it in that first one, of being like, we're surprising you every time you pick up a new gun. And I still feel that here, and it may be because I've been away from Borderlands for long enough that it's exciting, but it's like, every time I pick up a new weapon, it's like, oh, this one feels different, and that's cool. But shooting ice bullets that are really slow-moving projectiles that track a little bit, so you kind of just like blast a wave of these, like a fan of these bullets at a thing, and you see them trailing across, and you've already swapped weapons before your first bullet from the last gun hit.
But you ever done it with your fingers?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I
It's
like it
fun.
a lot. Yeah.
I think you might like it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you'll prefer this to Borderlands 3, and you enjoyed playing Borderlands 3.
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed playing it with
People.
The only thing I wanted to ask is that, because there was that thing where it's like a bit of confusion based on the fact that the DLC was like Tiny Tina's Adventureland or something. It's like similar title. People have gotten
Assault on Dragon Keep.
There you go, Assault on Dragon Keep. What's the duration of this? Like lengthwise, is this like a medium-sized campaign, or do you
Yeah,
know?
I think it's like a 25-ish.
Yeah, okay.
That's cool.
yeah.
And the fact that it's a D&D campaign, I think, will make it more attractive to people wanting to kind of jump in with friends, because you get that feeling more of going on an adventure together and playing out that story and feeling like you do when you play Dungeons and Dragons and
Yeah.
you're all in it together.
Will
like
Arnett
it.
is the antagonist, and
Yeah.
he does a great job.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the I don't know if in Borderlands 3 there was the sliding and stuff, but it just, the movement and the shooting and stuff feel really, really tight and fun. So,
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm really
exciting.
satisfied.
Good. What else are you satisfied with?
Out today! Last night, yesterday, all day, basically.
Into the evening.
Yeah, I played Zero Escape, the Nonary Games collection, came
that's
to
right.
Game Pass. And the Nonary Games is the collection of 999, which is like 9 people, 9 deaths.
This
9
is the one that
bullshit.
you were suggesting
Nine
that I play.
hours,
Yeah,
nine
I know.
persons,
Step-
nine doors. Yes.
Yeah. I got Stank Eye when I was like, I'm playing this. And she's like, I said
I was
I was
like-
going to play this.
I was like, that's the one that Nick told me to play. He
Oh,
specifically
right.
said that
Oh,
I could
yeah.
play
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And
yes,
now
right.
you're streaming it?
Yeah, I know.
They're avoiding the reason that I should stream it?
To be
You can play
fair,
the next one.
To be fair, yeah, there's other ones, and
Okay.
I also did. Pete said I was going to do this, and I did say, to be fair, Steph is A, never going to play this, and B, definitely not going to stream it. So like, the people
not
got
true.
the game.
Maybe. I would.
It's not true.
So, yeah, I played 999, which is the first one. I managed to finish get the worst ending, which is the fastest one, and that was very satisfying, and I'm done. So,
Is it satisfying because everyone dies?
well, yes, in a way.
That's
Obviously-
usually the worst ending in these
Totally,
scenarios,
it
right?
is
You want to
the
keep
worst
as many people alive as possible.
Yeah.
I don't
and,
know.
And
The
I
way I
imagine
heard
it would be more
Happy as
satisfying
animals
for
to
everyone
die.
to survive, but goddamn, they're annoying people. And they're not even annoying characters. They're just annoying how badly their dialogue is written. Because the characters are fine. So you, this is basically Saw, for anyone who's seen Saw. You are kidnapped, a group of people are kidnapped, put into a scenario where they need to perform tasks to survive. I'm not sure whether they need to redeem themselves in the eyes of Zero. I didn't get any of that. I got that they're all connected, so that's probably the case. all these 9 that have been captured
Yeah,
are
right.
connected in some way that I didn't discover, and I don't care. And
Are they being faced with challenges like in Saw where they have to potentially fuck someone else over to save themselves?
yeah. There's all that manipulation within the group, people
Hate
not
that.
trusting each other, that kind of stuff.
Got it.
And maths.
A wonderful concept for a game, and pretty well executed in principle, of setting up tensions between characters. I like all the puzzle room stuff. They're fun puzzle rooms. The tension of them doesn't exist outside of the music being really loud. So there's like, that's a little bit like, okay, there's not really a timer to this, so that just feels like, game design.
Yeah.
But the thing that really makes this game fucking drag is how much dialogue there is, how much repetition of dialogue there is, how stupid it thinks the player is, and it's consistently those 3 things.
If only there was a business that could somehow take these games and like all
There doesn't need
RPGs
to
in
be-
a way that makes it consumable and good.
There doesn't need to be
Yeah,
when
look.
Pete plays because he condenses
He
it
just
himself.
skips all the
And he
dialogue.
skips it all, and it was amazing to listen
Holy
to.
crap, Raj! Thank you for all the
Raj?
gifted sub.
Oh,
my goodness,
what you doing,
Raj.
Raj?
Calm down. Toot that little horn for him, will you?
Oh, one for Raj. It's not even a hype train.
I know.
That was
So you
weak.
got an unhyped.
That was weak.
I laughed
It's
into
not a
it.
hype train. Yeah.
If it was a hype train, it'd be louder.
Yeah.
You hear that, chat? Listening to you tab through all the dialogue, which was voice acted while you were doing it. Like, to your credit, you still got the story, and as you
Yeah,
said,
no
that
shit.
there's so much dialogue just repeating the same stuff.
Yeah.
You're there going, I
Because
can...
all of the dialogue is completely redundant.
Is it the characters talking about themselves and their backstory and stuff?
There's that. There's relationship building, or there's all that kind of stuff.
But
And
it's so heavily inferred, and then they go into detail and explain it, and it's like, I got it. But then it goes for another 4 minutes of like, no, I fucking got it.
Devil's
I got
Advocate,
it at the start.
people who like these games like them,
No one
those
likes
characters,
this.
those characters spending time circling the drain.
But no one
and-
likes that part of it, right?
I'm sure some do.
Well, that's not what chat tells me. Yes, yes. I hope no one likes it because it is terrible.
Yeah. But you,
The other awful thing.
yeah.
Keeping in mind, I love this game. Is the weird specificity that all the characters have about everything.
Yeah.
About like,
Oh, totally.
Like
Fucking
they are
bugs the shit
just
out of me.
Wikipedia pages.
Yeah.
They remember the Fahrenheit and Celsius
they're complete
melting
idiots.
point of ice and shit, and you just go, but you're a functional idiot, and and also like you're bringing this up in a way that this is not a conversation. Like no one even like they'll say something like, oh, you know about Ice 9? And you're like, what's Ice 9? And they're like, Ice 9 was first invented. And it's like, this is not how people speak.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they're so dumb.
That makes me think that it's a translation thing, though. I wonder if there's like a
No. It's bad. It's such a weird character
bad.
thing because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
they're
okay.
like literal idiots or juvenile, just completely unhelpful 30 seconds earlier, and then suddenly they're reciting a Wikipedia article. And it's like, that's not the same person.
Do you know
Yeah.
why
It
retains
thermometers
its
don't go over 172 degrees Fahrenheit? Like, you're in an escape room, you're dying. Someone just died next to you. Why are you talking
Someone,
this
and sorry,
calmly?
it's moved off. Someone said, people enjoy visual novels. Yeah, because visual novels are good stories well told. A visual novel, this is a bad visual novel.
Let's not.
Not always true.
Let's not say that all visual novels, like a
good
lot of the
visual
popular
novel has
ones,
a good
have all these same issues. Like so many of them have the same repetitious bullshit. So many of them do.
Then they're not good.
I know.
Yeah. So, but the good visual novels are a good story well told. This is a good story, potentially, poorly told. There's definitely enough batshit going on
Sure.
that it is exciting.
Thank you, Agent Triple B.
Agent Triple B, just here to calm Peter down with this stuff.
You're so great.
Oh my god.
Did you know that Agent Triple B was first invented in 1976? Yep.
Doki Doki was good. There's a lot of dialogue in Doki Doki. I feel like that had
Tons of repetition, but it was shorter.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and really it's just like it just grates on you because it's quite a long game. Like I spent 6 hours getting the bad ending.
Yeah.
And so like one thing stood out to me in particular. At one point I got mad and Antonio II was there who loves it. And was like, but he's a detective. That's why he's so detailed. And it's like, no, if he was a detective, he would give you the useful information. This guy goes, he's telling a story about how he's having a flashback, and he's like, I was standing at the door,
also in
and I walked across
trap
to the
room?
bed, and then I sat on the bed. And it's like, that was the least important thing about this story about children being kidnapped on a ship. I don't need to know how long it took you to walk from the door to the bed. I'm in the room that you were in.
He was setting the scene.
I know how long it takes.
Yeah.
4 steps.
He was putting you in his shoes.
He was putting me in his shoes.
Gumshoes. Yes. The problem is that the story is incredible because it's so crazy. It is buried underneath that stuff.
Yeah.
And the other difficult thing is that the story, because at one point I saw you started to tap through. And I think in chat I wrote, oh no, Pete thinks the game is the puzzles.
Yeah.
But it's not. The puzzles are like the filler.
Yeah.
And the game is actually listening to these long conversations.
Yeah.
Because Ice 9 and the Titanic,
Yeah.
huge implications for the actual, like the melting point or the freezing point of ice.
It's all there for.
Weirdly, a huge plot point. And so you go, if you skip through all that stuff, which is 80% awful,
Yeah.
at the end of that journey, you're like,
It asks
what?
you what the melting
yeah, totally. And you've gone past it. It's with these games, God, you did so well, Pete. I was so proud. These games are pain. You have to go, and like for me, I love them, but you have to go through the pain journey to the other side of the pain.
Yeah.
You have to live through it and get through it, because as soon as you start getting frustrated and skipping through, there's no point in doing it, because you're actually like, this is the whole experience.
Which
you realize
is like goes against every way you like and enjoy games. And like, to your credit, everything Nick just said, like you played it through. It's just, I can't see a world in which this would ever appeal to you. It doesn't appeal to me. And so like watching you play it and immediately get frustrated and dismiss of everything there by like going through it was equal parts frustrating, because I'm just like, this is not the game for you. And so
But I skipped through like 3 conversations. I listened to 4.5, 5 hours of conversations, and there were some that were just so inane that I fucking couldn't. And it's like, it was the 3rd time she was telling me about this is like the Titanic.
Yeah.
I fucking get it.
I'm with you.
I heard all the Ice 9 shit.
Yeah.
Because that's a new thing. When a new beat comes
Yeah.
I'll listen.
No. I was going to say something totally different, which was when I was watching you do it, you made me realize I was an idiot back when I did this on Pocket. I played it in Japanese, and I read out every single line of dialogue. I put it in English, and I was like, that guy's a genius.
It was English by default, I guess, because I downloaded it through the Xbox store.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
Will you be going back to find another net?
you know what? I like, as soon as I stopped playing, I was like, I'm gonna look up all the other endings, and I haven't. But like, the hooks, like, it's so hooky.
I know.
Yes,
it's
I know.
so hooky.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I think it's like, I think it wouldn't be a good. I don't think there's a world in which this game is a objectively good experience.
Sorry, Nano. Geez.
I've listened to 2 streams in my car recently. Listening to Pete skip dialogue wasn't as fun as Gus's slow grandpa stream.
And like, again, mad props to you for getting through this and streaming it. But at one point I was working, I was like, I'm just going to listen to Pete play this game while I do some illustrations. And I had my head down and I was listening to you be angry and the dialogue go, what if we, I will never,
I wasn't skipping.
And I was like, oh, this is giving me anxiety. I was like, I have to turn this off.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't think there's a world in which these games are objectively good. Ever. I don't care how much fat you trim.
Oh.
I don't care how much fat you trim. It's still not good, but I think what makes it enjoyable is the struggle through that shit. Because if you told me this story cleanly, like read the plot synopsis from Wikipedia, I'd say that's fucking awful.
Yeah, oh, totally. But
the struggle through it is the thing that makes it.
But it's also.
I think it's a perfect game, and it just sucks.
It's the yeah, right. It's the onion-like
unveiling
of what is going on and things that you thought you knew, and then if you order that out and just put it in, it's like if you put Memento in chronological order, you're like, it's just some guy living his day.
It's hard to kind of quantify like which parts of the story are actually good and worth telling, but I think you're right in that you either enjoy the process of these conversations play out and the relationships that develop in the way that they develop, even if it's long and drawn out and feels painful at times, or you don't. And I think that if
It's
you
some
can't-
BDSM shit. I think the pleasure comes from the pain, and I don't think it's a pleasurable
because you're
experience without the
because
pain.
you're rewarded,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think,
exactly.
I totally agree.
for sticking it out.
And in the same way, there are the masochists, and those are the people watching the stream, as the sadist, and that is the person inflicting this on the stream. And I am the sadist who will be playing AI, the subliminal file, on stream. So yeah, very exciting. I will say, I agree with a lot of Pete said. I adore this game. It's probably one of my top 10 games of all time. And
Wow.
if you have the patience for a JRPG and you like a crazy story and you haven't played this, I thoroughly recommend checking this out on Game Pass because it is batshit crazy in all the best possible ways. But yeah, you need to go through the pain.
Where do you sit on like the Persona games and stuff?
Love them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, love me. Have I finished a Persona? Never. How many hours of Persona have I played?
People
Maybe 300.
Love Persona.
Love
and
Persona.
I played like maybe an hour of 4,
Oh,
maybe, and I was like,
so fucking excited.
yeah,
for the new
and
Persona.
I've played a lot of Persona, and I love how crazy it is. But I think there's a little less of the sort of roundabout ploddingness of them. There is, it's
Yes, there
always
is.
moving
Oh, there
ahead
definitely is, yeah.
in a crazy way. But there's always something.
They're
around
just
the corner.
massive stories.
Yes,
Loki
yeah.
Cat is so close to finishing Persona 5 right now. Is that what we said? Yeah, cool. That's very exciting. It's the year of. We're currently in the year of Persona. There's going to be a bunch of Persona news, and at the end of the year of Persona, they're definitely going to announce Persona 6. It's going to be very exciting. Pete, congratulations for trying 999. I'm very proud of you. The game that I've been checking out this week. Speaking of a game made for me,
And it's out today.
it's out in a week. Is Weird West.
Mm.
So Weird West is a first-person shooter. No.
Wait,
Weird
no.
West
It's an
is
immersive sim?
It's an immersive sim.
I'm a
made-
Westernophile, so this would be one right up my alley.
Made by one of the creative leads from who made Prey and Dishonored,
cool.
and they've spun off and made their own studio. It's an immersive sim Western, and you play. There are 5 characters that you can play as, but you play them in chronological order. So you can't pick a character at the beginning. You start off as a bounty hunter called Jane, and literally the first thing that happens is you wake up and a gang appear at your ranch.
Mhm.
Your son and husband are outside. They pull guns on the son and the husband, and I'm like, "Oh, you wouldn't kill the kid, would you?" And one of the first things the gang leader says is, "Kill the boy and keep the man. He seems like good meat." And they shoot your son, who's like 10, and they kidnap your husband to eat him. This is like the first 10 seconds of the game, and I'm like,
Insane.
"This is fucked up." Great.
Kids much better meat to eat.
Oh, eat lamb.
Yeah. Kids, they're the
Kids.
lamb of humans. They're the veal of people.
The kid is the kid of the
Less
kid.
of it overall, though, and I feel like in this situation, if meat is scarce, you'd be going for volume over quality.
Steph, you are welcome in my apocalyptic Western future. Nicholas, continue.
So then you need to go on you used to be a bounty hunter, and you put the spurs back on, and you head out. Now the way that the game works is that it's there's a lot of there's an overmap, and you just go from town to town, and you pick up. You're trying to basically find your husband, and so you follow the trail and talk to people and get in fights, and along the way you pick up bounties and you meet people and you take on side quests and all this sort of stuff. And it's kind of like, it feels like it should almost be a turn-based strategy game. It's an action RPG. It's a real-time strategy game. So you're kind of like running, shooting. You get upgrades and some sort of like powers, I suppose you could say. They're like gun powers, really. In
real-time combat?
In real-time combat. There's some slowdown when you're selecting things,
Yep.
but you really are like
I got
trying to...
Divinity vibes looking at the footage.
Yes, very much. And then the other thing about it is that because it's an immersive sim, all the systems of the game interact with each other all the time.
Okay.
So as you get further and further into the game, it all just sort of piles on top of it. For example, like this area that I'm at now, I needed to go to a ranch to talk to the mayor of this place about where my husband is. The mayor's a piece of shit. at this ranch, I could, and I went through this 5 times, and I did 5 different things. I could talk to the mayor and get the information. I could kill the mayor and get the code to his safe and go get the information
Were you
from
just
that.
restarting each time because you
Yeah,
wanted
it's
to?
got because I died maybe and then had to.
Okay.
Maybe I had to. You could sneak in to his safe and crack the safe and no one sees you and get the information. At one point, I found I walked past a guard who said, "Hey, come here. Can you deliver this love letter to another guard? Because it's not that anyone here is homophobic. They just don't like us fraternizing with each other." So I went and delivered that letter to that guy.
Yeah.
They ended up running off together and starting their own ranch.
Wow.
I went
And
to
you're still
jail.
there with the safe going, damn it.
Damn it. I went to jail for stealing something in this little town thing. I ruined my reputation because I accidentally killed a maid, and now all the cops are after me. So all the things, everything can happen. You can kill main plot line
Yeah,
characters.
right.
Like a quest giver character, you could just shoot in the head, and then it's like, well, what are you going to do now? So it's super cool. It is super, super cool. With that love letter, at one point I needed to go meet a guy at a bar for it. I went to the bar. He was about to get shot by someone in the bar. He was like, "Can you help me?" I said, "Yes." I drew my gun. I shot an oil lamp by accident. The oil lamp exploded, lit a table on fire. Someone knocked the table over. It hit the person who was fighting the guy I was delivering the letter to. They caught on fire, and then they burned the bar down because they kept running around on fire. I threw dynamite at one point in another fight, but it was raining and the dynamite just fizzled out in midair and a wet stick of dynamite landed at the feet of everybody, and it was just
Then you
this
draw your
perfect.
gun and you shoot it.
No, there was this perfect beat, and they just went. Boom, 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 boom. So it's that kind of thing, which is awesome.
You're right. I see what you mean by Divinity vibes. It is very like
Yeah.
the logic of like RPG.
Or use the
and
games, yeah.
Yeah, or find things in the environment and the world to kind of almost find your own solution.
Yes, and so you can go like stealthy, you can go guns out, you can go really sort of like chatty and like manipulating people and all that.
And
sort of
there's
stuff.
no, you don't have there's no skill-based system. You're only given this character. You haven't spec'd them to be a lockpick. You just can choose to.
You have so you can do everything,
Yep.
and then there's like an RPG level up of lockpick 10% faster style thing,
Right.
but there's no sort of
Faster,
like
not
I have
couldn't
this
if you were
ability
to.
and couldn't do this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really cool. A lot of it is it's not necessarily like scripted, but it's like it's a scripted thing that then you can decide whether or not you want that to play out, or you can just like start shooting people or like manipulating them or whatever. And then a lot of it is that sort of like organic. This is just how this shit works out.
Just on the weird part, is it grounded? Like, is it a
There's ghosts, there's vampires.
Okay,
The cannibals who kidnapped your husband, the head cannibal is like this dapper gentleman, cool looking guy who is talking to this gang that he's working with, and then at one point turns into a wraith, starts screaming at them, and then swims down a river.
I was about to
all
say,
right
is
then.
he just a cannibal by choice, or
Because he's a wraith, and so and then there's ghosts and witches, and there's this weird hovering shit that I don't know what it does yet.
and
That's
how
the
often are you
UI.
changing between characters?
So you get to the end of an act, and then it gives you another one. I've played
Okay.
6.5 hours so far, and I'm about halfway through
Okay.
the first character's arc.
Oh wow!
So
okay,
it's about 40 to 50 hours all told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not sure at this point how different those other arcs are, be it in setting, gameplay style, like.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So the embargo, we can't talk about past a certain point at the moment, but I haven't even got to the end of that point yet. But from what I can tell, like this story is very, her, like the bounty hunter is just her husband, her child. Like it's a small revenge tale.
Okay.
So I don't think it's just like now you're playing as a different kind of character in this story. I think it's
Yeah,
like there's a
right.
totally new Weird West tale
And
that's
they
being
might
told.
intersect.
Anthology, yeah.
I think they do intersect.
That's
which would be
cool.
awesome.
I love the idea.
Anthology is a great way of looking.
Because, yeah, there is always the idea of games that have so many systems in play that can lead to not only are they usually big games, but having so many options means that they can feel quite daunting. And I got that with like Divinity and stuff. It's like this is such a sprawling epic.
No,
it's like
and that's the beautiful thing about this is that all the little side quests and stuff. It is literally like go to this part of the map, and you just sort of like basically fast travel across the map and clear out this area, and get the bounty or whatever. And so all the side quests are sort of like 10 minutes work, and usually on the way to doing something else, it doesn't feel like you're just stacking them all up, and it's overwhelming.
When you're in the combat, though, because I find that when you're playing isometric games like this, often I really like to play characters that have a lot of magic, because when you're so removed from it, that you want to see a lot happening on screen to feel like you're doing
it's hard
stuff.
to be a sniper. It's better to be an AOE.
Yeah.
So
how does that fit into the Weird West?
That is the one thing that is a little finicky and kind of have to wrap your head around. There's a lot of controls. Like you've got a lot of sub abilities that you can do, but you have to be doing on the fly. And so you've got your like right click, aim your gun, and a red line comes out. It's when it turns gray, it means you're not going to hit it, and when it turns red, the line is red, then that means you're going to hit someone.
Okay.
And it's pretty forgiving in terms of like the aim, like you're generally hitting them, but
I don't know. Those oil lamps.
You're hitting the oil lamps, but
and it's real-time combat.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's the one thing that I found is that I'm constantly crouching. Like when you jump through a window, your character auto crouches, and then you start moving really slowly. And then it's like I'm playing on mouse and keyboard at the moment. I moved to controller for a bit because I thought maybe this is more intuitive to just use it. And I think it probably was, but I'd already played 5 hours on mouse and keyboard, so my brain was fucked from going to a controller.
And I saw a big inventory there and all that stuff.
All of that stuff would be totally fine with was fine with the controller.
Okay.
I actually think the best version of doing this is playing on PC with a controller and then using the mouse for the inventory. Would be the best.
Yeah,
and I did that, and that was totally fine.
Okay.
But it's coming to Game Pass. It's so dope. It's so cool. I'm really, 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 really into it.
Yeah.
And the more that I play it, the more that I'm just like, I really feel like I've had an effect on this world. And you come back to places. The last thing I say is like, there's this thing of, if you go into a town and you wipe out a bunch of people, then if they were bad, then everyone's happy. But if they were good, then your standing has gone massively down, and then you start getting hunted by other bounty hunters and cops and all that sort of stuff. But when you come back to that town, like a couple of days later, they're all burying their dead, like that you massacred or that there was a massacre. And they're sort of burying them in the graveyard, and the husbands and wives are all sad about like who they lost, or the family members are grieving, and that sort of thing. And then you wait a couple of days later, and then you come back, and they're all sort of like,
over it.
Well, they're trying to get on with their lives. And then you go, actually, I know that one of those guys had like a gold ignet or something that I wanted. So you go to the graveyard at night, and you dig up all the graves, and then you can loot them all, and then bugger off. Yeah, and then they come back the next day, and they're redigging those graves and burying those. And it's just like, that's so cool that this whole little world is happening as I'm fucking around with like
NPC finally had closure, and the next morning, oh god, there's all the
Barry. Yeah, it's dope. It's just dope. Wow. It's such a cool game. Yeah. So
cool. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it continues strong. So those
just quickly, you covered the weird, but what is the longitude of the setting?
It's near Japan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
So that's
steer his shit joke back at me. I was a target.
So today we spoke about Ghostwire Tokyo, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, 999 Weird West, and Steph, your game is.
I played Hitchhiker, a VR adventure. Because Hitchhiker is a game that came out a while ago, and it only just recently came to VR. And I was like, you know what? This year I really want to try and play more VR games. Plus, like, I'm having trouble like convincing myself to exercise. I was like, VR would be a great way to do that. And then I saw this game, and it was like an entirely seated experience. Ooh.
And driving.
Like, I watched you play it. Well, I heard you playing it this morning, and you played for 90 minutes, maybe
2 hours. Yeah.
2 hours, yeah. And I just like, you were just sitting like this and smiling.
I'm sorry.
Like 2 hours.
You judged me when I played a VR game a few days ago, and now you judge her.
Yeah, because everyone looks fucking dumb playing VR.
I should
true.
have.
What is that? It's
I should
equal
have
judgment.
closed. I should have closed the door, but I thought in my own home I would be free.
In my own
to look
office, I could
stupid
play
playing VR.
No one thinks they look cool in VR.
I know, but you can't be flailing around behind me and think I'm not going to notice.
I wasn't
You
flailing.
noticed.
I was
You weren't
driving.
flailing.
I was
You
sitting
were laughing.
I was a passenger in a car.
You were laughing
just
with
walked
joy,
around there, I've
and it
driven
looked
with
like you're
Sam,
having a
she's
great
nothing
time.
like
I wish these were tentacles. Get us, sit down in the car.
So I knew nothing about this game. I just like it. It was called a VR mystery. It was called.
Yep.
And I like a mystery.
Sorry, I thought that. What is the title of the game?
Hitchhiker, a VR mystery game.
I thought VR wasn't in there, or did they add it officially?
Hitchhiker, a mystery game VR is
See-
what.
It was, yeah, because this game came out 12 months ago on PlayStation, I think. Maybe it's on other systems as well, but just came to VR like this week.
That's what I just said.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so basically you like get into the car and then you sit down. I knew nothing about myself or why I was there, and the guys just like picked me up, and I was like trying to get my bearings, looking around and stuff. And he's like, "You're not much of a talker, are you?" And then he goes, "Want a raisin?" And I was like, "Sure." So I ate a raisin, and then I started to feel a bit weird, and I was like, initially questioning whether this game was going to be like cool in VR or not, and I was like, "Oh, I feel a first-hand experience of getting into a car with a strange man, and now he's drugged me, and this is kind of like terrifying."
Hang on, the raisins drugged, or you were just getting VR sickness?
No, the raisin was drugged.
Oh, okay, right.
And I was like, this is going to go in a really bad place. And he was just like, "You look like the kind of guy who," and I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." And so then I realized that I was this guy who had a whole backstory with a girlfriend who basically...
You're going to have some more raisins.
Welcome to the privilege of being a white man.
Yeah.
You can hop into anyone's car and eat whatever they offer you.
Yeah.
That is the joy.
You eat a drugged razor, they're like, sorry, that one wasn't for you.
Yeah. Who was just trying to figure out, like, you know, what's going on because I can't remember anything, or I'm confused about where I am,
Right, okay.
and this guy isn't giving me a lot of information.
Okay.
And then he says to me, "Listen, I want you to really think about why you're here, because there's something at the end of this road that you really don't want to see." And I was like, "What?" And then the more and the kind of like, it starts to get weirder in a kind of acid trippy kind of way. And I don't know if it was the raisin.
I don't know if it's the raisin talking.
but
Your moustache looks really cool, sir.
But like the whole thing was pretty wacky.
you're fine, I'm a guy.
And I'm kind of looking around for clues in the car, and I start to find like there's a lot of stuff that's like, this guy's a murderer, and then there's a lot of things that where he sort of, I start talking about someone that I've lost or is missing or something like that, and then I realize that it was my girlfriend, and then I'm sort of trying to piece together things, and then it's sort of like we had a fight, and then I'm like, am I the murderer? Like, it's one of those things where you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out what the mystery of it is, but it's also a very strange scenario. The game plays out in 5 acts, and you are with a different kind of person each time.
Oh, right.
Most of the time you're a passenger in a car, but there's a couple of instances where you're not in a car but sitting in a different scenario.
When you say you're playing the same character, and
Yes.
you're, yeah. Okay.
Oh, right.
But every single person that you, every time you start a new act and you're with a new person, they try to convince you to go back, and because there's something at the end of this road that you don't want to see. And I was like, what? And even at one point, I'm in the car with a guy, and he's like, "All right, listen, I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to give you a red pill and a blue pill." And I was like,
Morpheus?
and he's just like, "If you take the red pill, you're going to stay here, and we'll just, see where this journey ends. And if you take the blue pill, then, you'll wake up and forget all about it." And I was like, all right. So I'll take the red pill.
Why do I have to take the red pill? Why can I take no pills and just you continue driving this car?
Stop giving me pills. So I take the red pill, and then I ate it, and then I was like, I don't feel any different. And he's like, they were just Tic Tacs. I was like, what?
So, is this game good?
I can't decide.
Oh.
It's like,
Have you finished it?
yeah.
Okay, right.
So there's like, each character is telling you, is having this conversation with you, trying to help you realize what happened between you and your partner, who has gone to Europe at some point, we figure out, and there's sort of different elements to the story. Then every person goes off on a really weird tangent at some point. And that, they tell you a story, and that is done with a completely unique animation style within each act.
Yeah, right.
And the story seems to have nothing to do with anything else and is really surrealist and doesn't make sense. Like, one person's talking about how everyone was robots, another person was talking about the fact that they slipped down the crack of an escalator and they ended up in a storeroom. They lived there for a year with other people and they got fed via mannequins that were sent to them through a chute, which had food inside them. Like, it was like really weird.
This is 999.
Yeah. And I was like searching for the symbolism in it because I was like, this has got to mean something somehow. And there were a few of them where I was like, okay, I get how that is a reference to this thing, but I just don't know if it's a good reference or if there's a, and I think.
Am I not getting a clever reference, or is this just poorly structured and bits of
I
slapped
think
together?
there are multiple endings, and the ending I got maybe was a good one because I got to the end and it was just like a kind of abrupt but positive resolution. But it also didn't feel likely.
Yeah.
Like a likely
Oh,
outcome.
right.
Do you know what I mean? Where I was like, that doesn't seem right. So I was like, maybe I'm fucking in dreamland or whatever, and I'm just
You blue pilled.
I've chosen the state of belief that I want to stay in for the rest of my life, wherever I
strange.
am in limbo.
How strange to go so abstract with a concept that actually seems like a quite nice, simple thing for VR, which is like, hey, you're seated, you've got things you can interact with that, while the car
I
takes you
think it was
somewhere,
like
keep it simple. But
It just
this seems
didn't quite
insane.
get there for me, but maybe it would if I'd played out multiple different endings. There are also like a series of little puzzles and things to find that annoyingly doesn't really let you solve them. Like, it kind of tells you. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's things that you can kind of put together and find and stuff. And like, there'd be a moment where she'd be like, you have to find the man with 10 eyes. And I was like, oh, okay, 10 eyes. And she was like, he wears them around his wrist like a bracelet. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it was like a reference to somebody who had like a word with a series of O's or something like that. And I was just like, there. And it goes, see the bracelet that has the thing. And I was like, yeah, no, I saw it. I would have figured it out, Gabe. If you just gave me a chance. So there's a lot of things where it kind of sets up the idea that you're going to have to solve a puzzle, and then it kind of solves it for you before you get the chance to even like take control and look for stuff. And the times when it does get to you to solve a puzzle, it's really, really basic. So I was annoyed by that. I was like, at least give me, if you're going to put puzzles in a game, then let me solve them,
let you puzzle it out.
rather than just give me
Like, I
things to
genuinely
press.
thought this was going to be about getting out of a car, like from a murderer, and having to solve
moving vehicle.
like,
No,
and having to
it's-
solve. But no, but you know what I mean? Like, having to like outsmart him and use things in the car. I'm like,
No,
cool concept.
no.
I'm like, this
it's
sounds
really
stupid.
it's really existential, and
Unnecessary.
some of the concepts are like really profound, and some of them are like a massive wank, and then some of them just don't make sense.
I don't know if you heard Steph at the start said this was not a VR game a year ago. And it's now a VR game. So it wasn't made as a VR.
What's it called?
It's on the screen.
So yeah, I kind of like, I feel like I'm at the point now where I don't know that I'm invested enough to sit through all the really long, weird stories again.
Yeah, right.
To want to sort of play out the different endings, even though it's relatively short. It's about 2.5 hour game.
Yeah.
But I would, yeah, I guess I'm kind of at the stage now where I want to sort of read about it and figure out.
That's what YouTube's for.
Yeah.
After this episode, you are going to tell me what's at the end of that road.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It does a very good job of like giving you stuff that is driving you crazy. Like half the game I'm carrying around this fucking box that is locked, and I'm like, come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
My question is more practical. Like, how does the game, if you
take
choose not to
average.
interact with anything, is he just doing laps of the block? And you're like,
Yeah, you're in-
sat there instead. You're like, well, you're gonna.
You're
have
in
to get-
fucking endless mountain land in
Yeah,
this
of
one, and
course.
then another one you're in endless suburbia. Like it's one of those ones where it's just like you're kind of. But I'm curious to know that if I rejected all of the offers for like answers and stuff, because I was like, I want to know. I'm always pushing the I want to know line, or no, I don't care. I want to find out. I don't care if it's gonna hurt me, or whatever. Like if I'd just been like, no, okay, no, I'm good. If it would have just what the like result would have been then.
Probably disappointing.
It's funny because this has strong Route 69, Road 96.
Road 96.
Road 96.
Route 69
is
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 we've all seen Route 69.
yeah. Road 96 vibes.
Same moustache
yeah.
guys in that one.
Yeah, well, even a bit of the same look as well. Like he actually, you were talking
Yeah.
about Route 69, but like actually looking at the characters, I'm like, oh yeah, this really reminds me of Road 96 as well. Yeah, cool, okay, good. Now I want to know what's the end of that road. That is, no one knows the name of this game. What's it called?
It's called Hitchhiker.
A mystery game.
VR.
Good. Okay. Before we move on to our ad break, we need to quickly look at some scores because a bunch of games came out this week.
That's true.
And there are a bunch of games that we pick for our Pocket League, which means we need to look at Pocket League. Pocket League.
Cool.
We almost forgot to do it.
That's a reference to
Very
earlier.
clever. That's very clever. I'm not going to do the whole reading out all the reviews
got
and stuff
three.
No,
because
no,
we go
no,
but we'll go through the scores. We'll start off with Ghostwire Tokyo, a Gus Ronald joint.
Japanese bit of perfection.
And thank you, Ghostwire Tokyo, with the 77,
Yeah.
really wiping out that 96 for Elden Ring.
Yeah. I believe in Japan 7s and 9s. So
Seven's
you got
unlucky,
99.
so
Oh
yeah.
no,
There you go.
isn't it? Okay.
I don't know. I made that up.
Yeah.
You're looking at yours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, didn't I get something? I was like, maybe I got 70. No, it's lower. It's a lower number.
I will just say, I'm genuinely surprised that it's that score. I thought it would easily be an 80
Yeah, right.
or something. So yeah, 77. Not great, but
Three short of 80's not.
sorry, 80, 85, like
Right,
in the
the
80s.
mid-80s.
In the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah. An 8 in front of it.
Yeah.
The next one we saw was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which comes out tomorrow, which none of us have. Oh, but there is a copy coming.
Steph has it on her list.
No. None of us
and-
have played this week,
Yes.
but there is a copy coming tomorrow,
Yep.
so we'll be able to talk about it at some other point. But Steph had it on her list with a strong 85.
Good.
Yes.
Good score.
85.
It's a solid score.
And that's a
Is there-
primary game as well.
Is there a runner-up prize?
No, there wasn't last year, so there isn't this year.
Was there a prize last year?
No, we haven't figured this out. We got to come up with a prize. We should have done this before.
We should get a proper engraved trophy,
We should.
Oh, we should.
like a
should.
cup.
Like a pocket.
Yeah.
A pockety cup. Yep. Didn't we say, wasn't there something where it was like the winner had to win the thing and then keep it in their background when they were streaming something? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
There was something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Like that.
Let's
I
just
like
There
say.
you go, maybe.
Good.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And then
Yeah,
Tiny Tina's Wonderland also came out. This was a Peter Jones joint.
Peter Jones?
Peter Burns joint. This was
Where is he?
That's what a Peter Jones point in.
Sounds like a bad new film title at the start. A Peter Jones.
With a respectable 80 for you.
Yeah, but that's in my reserves. They'll never get there.
My
second reserve.
Well, Lego's coming out. Mario's coming out.
Stalker might not.
Oh, second
Stalker
reserves.
might
Yeah.
not.
Stalker. Yeah, Stalker may not.
Stalker may not. And I've already lost SS, Suicide Squad,
Yes.
Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
So
good.
Oxenfree will get subbed in at some point.
I'm so happy for that Ghostwire Tokyo score. Elden Ring was scaring me.
Roller coaster this has been.
Good.
Well,
I
straight
think
up
Elden
and down
Ring is
for me.
actually down to 95 as well. So
Doesn't matter.
it was within the two.
Which is criminally low for the.
I lost so badly last year. Why is everyone so ready for me to lose again?
No, because no one ever wants Collingwood to win.
No one wants
Collingwood.
you specifically to lose. They just want to win themselves.
That's what it is,
And
yeah,
currently you
yeah.
are leading, so
Yeah.
you are the one to tear down.
Actually, I think I'm leading. But yeah, sure.
Burn
Pocket
Nicholas!
League.
Yeah.
Pocket League.
The muttering before it comes up. Like, yeah, it's not referring.
That's 3 fucking things deep.
I am the tall poppy.
Were our mics live during
Yeah.
that? Just hearing I am the tall poppy was the most Ronald thing imaginable.
Mac and Dag.
Life will always be hard for me.
I don't know if you know, I'm a man. Life's hard for me and my reasons.
I am the tall poppy. I am privileged and successful.
Weep for me.
Good. Okay, we'll be back with more Back Pocket after this short break.
Find out what common household item can kill you, your family, and everyone you love right after these commercials.
Sick of being seen? Camo!
Because you deserve to smell.
Rash, Akarash, and Buzzard.
Make this ninth life his.
All wood is just dicks.
Roller Star.
The Learn Programming Academy.
What the fuck did you just say?
That's wild.
Online business needs Nicrotex.
Do not take Avexia if.
Nathan. No. It's nothing but fucking. Cool. That should be good.
All done? Yeah. Great. So we just saved them in a folder marked patrons, and so for that one it would be Mason, not Nathan.
Cool. Nathan.
No, tricky. I can see what happened there. It's Mason, not Nathan.
Cool. So Mason with an N, so Nathan.
I can't help but hear you say Nathan again. It is Mason. Mason is the fun one.
Nathan.
Let's go over this a few times. Okay, quick exercise. I'll say the word, you repeat it back. Mason.
Nathan.
Nope, Mason.
Nathan.
No, I'm thinking Nathan. Mason.
Nathan.
Nathan?
Nathan.
Ugh! Okay, Mason, not Nathan. Mason, not Nathan. Mason.
Nathan.
No, Mason.
Nathan.
Mason, not Nathan. Ready? Yep, go!
Nathan.
Mason.
Nathan.
Mason, Mason, Mason. Oh, Bruce.
Nathan. 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 Nathan.
Mason?
Nathan.
No.
Nathan.
Wait, what?
What?
The thing you said before.
Nathan.
Fucking kill you!
Always remember, it's Nathan, not Mason.
Oh my god!
Hey.
I'm trying to get help finding time to game when I have a toddler around. I don't know what to do.
The first thing I would suggest is not having children. We do actually have a father in the call center here.
Hi, can I start with your name, please?
Hi, I'm Spazarus.
You are finding it difficult to play video games with the child.
Correct.
Can I get your name, please?
God damn it.
This is as creative as I get, so don't you fucking come for me. I don't know what rhymes with BuriBuri, but I'll suey if you keep defaming me. You take my money then insult me. I'm not Loki of the feline variety. So what's your tone, Mr. Richardson?
So what's your tone, Mr. Richardson? So what's your tone, Mr. Richardson?
Or a lawsuit will be incoming.
Rapturous applause.
Wow! It just keeps getting better.
So good.
I love a collab as well.
So good.
I love a pocket collab.
I just like to think what her husband thinks is going on when she's in the office just singing this. I'll suey if you come for me. He's like, is this really?
Everything all right?
Yeah. Are you actually a lawyer? Or are you like a kid lawyer?
Obviously, a wonderful collaboration there between BuriBuri, whose song was entered last week. Muso for Hire.
Light notes from her child's toy xylophone.
That's right,
She
yeah.
steals from them at the start.
Muso for Hire has orchestrated it, but the visuals are still lacking.
Oh!
Maybe someone could get on that.
You think there could be a
hanging
third
that one out there.
collaborator?
I think there could be a techno music video.
Wow.
I like this. I like this.
No, I think it still has to. It has to build on the orchestral.
Yeah,
You
of
can't
course.
change the music.
Yeah,
It should be
good.
Japan.
I like it. It should be Japan. Send it in Japan. Whatever it is, send it in Japan. Good. Excellent. Okay, great.
Challenge set.
This is back to thing of the day territory of just going like, here's a thing.
on
Now
labels
just
on labels.
iterate and iterate.
We're
and iterate.
iterating by the level of like, write it, perform it, add music, now add visuals, now make it. It's like we're building it up the way something
Hire
creatively
Spielberg.
is.
We're going to start a law firm.
But that's so nice because when people watch the show again and again each week, they get to watch that journey. And doesn't that inspire you to never miss an episode?
Don't you want to take that next step in that journey? You could be that animator. It's going to be me, isn't it? It's going to be you.
But you're not going to do it now because now we've got something else. If you did want to animate it though, and you needed some assets to download,
Some inspiration.
you would need some good internet to download those assets because
would.
I hear
Oh,
those
smooth.
JPEGs are big.
Smooth.
Oh, you start getting into WebPs or whatever those other ones are, SVGs, whatever the hell they are. They're
Yep.
huge.
Yeah, I get this.
SVGs.
And I'm like, how do I open this? What is this piece of information?
You need a browser-based PNG converter.
Oh my god, that's far too much information. I'll tell you what you do need. You need Aussie Broadband, who is sponsoring tonight's episode. We're incredibly excited, of course, to have Aussie on board for another week for the back pocket show for Back Pocket. I said the Back Pocket. I didn't put the in the
chips.
chips before, and now it's all
yeah.
just falling
Everywhere
apart. Aussie are without a doubt best ISP in the country. We are the best show called Back Pocket in the country. It was a match made in heaven. If you want to be with Aussie, we've got some deals in the Twitch panels below where you can go and get some savings on their deals. Good plans. Good, fast, speedy plans. If you're looking for home, everyday family, casual plans, we can get you $10 off per month for 6 months using the code BACKPOCKET10. Or if you're looking for that high-speed stuff, you need those SJVs now. I need them today, Ronald. You want the high-speed plans with the home superfast and home ultrafast. We can get you $20 off per month for 6 months using the code BACKPOCKET20 when you check out. Their gamer MBM plans, so speedy, SJVs, full Ghostwire Tokyo downloads, and all the other things that are on the internet, which is basically your entire life.
We have Aussie broadband in our house, and yesterday I was thinking about, I did a stream, and I was like, I want to play Elden Ring. Let's see how that runs on PC as a stream. Not good.
Not good.
Not good. So I installed it on my second PC, 50 gig download, Aussie broadband, took like 8 minutes.
Oh.
Jesus.
But we have crazy fast internet, so
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. If you want to be disgusting like Peter, you should join up to Aussie Broadband. We're very thankful to have Aussie on board for the show, particularly because, of course, we are creators. We love creating things on the internet. Aussie are the best ISP for creators. They are so stable, and their customer service is second to none. If you have a problem, you can call them up and immediately talk to someone who's like, yo, what the problem? And then they direct you to the person with who's like, I'm the problem solver. And then they answer the call. They're like, hi, I'm the problem solver.
Sorry about the first person who picked up the
They will not talk to you like that.
That was actually an intern. And they will talk through your issue. They will get it solved. They are so helpful. They are so friendly. They are so down to earth and just like, we know you want to get back online as fast as humanly possible. And you don't want to sit through the thing, which I hate the most when you're on a call center and it's like, I just want to fix the speed of my whatever. And they're like, so let me get this straight. You want to fix the speed of your internet? I'm like, yes, I would be happy to help you fix the speed of your internet. Stop repeating what I've said back. Just start fixing the internet. And
You're playing 999 again, aren't you?
what's happening.
That is
Exactly what's happening. So use the codes BACKPOCKET10 and BACKPOCKET20 to get some great deals on Aussie Broadband. And we figured, once again, since they have the best customer service in the country, the only people who could possibly beat them are Back Pocket. Welcome back to the Aussie Gamer Helpline.
Bring that energy all the way down. Now,
I'm going to be honest with you, the title never sticks in my head because it's not a pun on either the words back or pocket, like every other segment we've created. Welcome to the Aussie Gamer Helpline. We are excited to be here and taking your calls, and we, of course, have another call center operator with us today.
True.
Stephanie, welcome to the team.
4 years call center experience. Thank you very much.
She's not even
So
joking.
you're the only trained professional here. So
if
say
you caught the last one, you'd be...
But very rubbish at my job. So experienced, but not good.
Steph, calls.
Yep.
Calls.
They're everywhere.
Got
They're
it.
everywhere.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, we are going to bring in our first caller now. Very excited to be able to help someone out with their gaming issues. Caller, you are on the air. Hello, caller.
hello, caller.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Who am I speaking to, please?
That is Galaxy.
She was waiting for you to say, yo, what the problem?
Galaxy, yo, what the problem?
The problem is I'm having trouble getting mentally in the right mood to play games with the prospect of Monday morning back to work or half an hour on a weekday to play my game, knowing that I have to stop in half an hour and then go to bed and then go back to work.
Yeah.
The cycle of life, it goes on and on.
Yeah. And is this stemming from, are you feeling, I don't want to get all Freudian, but first of all, do you hate your mother? And secondly, are you feeling, is it a guilt that you could be doing something else with your time? Or is it that the idea, there are so many video games, they're all so long, how do you start something that you're going to have to finish when you want to be playing something else?
I think I'm definitely one of the people that's into like the really long open world video games and having like half an hour to try and get in the mental headspace, start the game, figure out where I'm up to, and then get back into it when I'm like, I should be doing the dishes or I should have a shower and go to bed early.
Well, your
Need
first
to live
problem.
my gamer life.
Your first problem is definitely going to bed early. You don't want to be doing that if you're living any kind of gamer
No.
lifestyle. The dishes, you're going to need a dishwasher or hire some help. Make someone else in the house do the dishes potentially. But I would say, me personally, with those big games, I have resigned myself, and it took a very long time for me to get to this place. But once I did, mentally, I'm so much happier. I start a game never expecting to finish it. I have changed the way that I look at video games. I used to look at them as when I play something, I will finish this, and even if I'm not having any more fun or whatever, I just feel like I need to close that book. I have completely flipped that, and I go, I don't think that I'm going to finish this game. If I do, it's a nice surprise, but I play something until I feel sated with the experience, and then I move on to something else. I do find that a lot of the time with the open world games, you can play, 5-10 hours and get basically the thing that you're looking for the rest of the game, and then you can look up the ending on YouTube. Stephanie, terrible at your job?
Yeah, I would say for starters, I understand that there's sort of like a time issue, but definitely like kind of like reframing how you think about games is like kind of a guilty pleasure thing is a big part of it. Because I think a lot of us are like, oh man, I could be doing more productive things with my time and all that kind of stuff. But like the time that you spend for yourself is also important. And sometimes I feel like I would just tune out and watch a few hours of TV that I didn't care about when I could have been playing a game because I told myself that I was just like, I don't want to think about anything and that time ended up being like not well served. So I feel like if there are things that you're doing or parts of your day that you feel like are sort of taking up that time for you that you could sort of put towards a game that you would be enjoying more, then I would say totally do that. But if it's literally just a question of just not having enough hours in the day, then yeah, I would say maybe find a game that is a bit more linear but has similar qualities to the open world games that you like so that it feels less overwhelming. Because I get it. It can be like really daunting. And also I get the kind of in an open world game, it's really hard to stop when you know you want to be in bed by a certain time and you're like, oh, I'm just going to do this quest line. Oh, but what's that over there? And what's this thing? Whereas linear games, you have less of an issue there.
Galaxy, Gus here. I heard you mention guilt and feeling guilty about when you play. Was that right?
Yes, definitely
Right.
should be doing something more useful with my time.
All right, well, here, I'm ready for it. I'm riddled with the stuff. So I thought my advice would actually be it's working out like the time period of when you're playing the games. And a lot of people leave gaming till the end of the day when they finish everything they've done. And then it's like you've kind of got a few extra hours. I assume that's what you're saying. It's like you could go to bed or play games. Is that right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. So, what I would recommend, give this a shot. It might not work, but I actually occasionally have started going to bed early, getting up early, so forget everything Nick told you, getting up and then like allocating like a half hour or an hour to play a game early in the morning or at the start of your day because you know you need to put that down because you've got to get on with the stuff for the rest of your day. That might be work, that might be responsibilities, but you can't accidentally, well, you can, but you shouldn't accidentally burn a whole day because you have actual responsibilities that are time sensitive. So, that's kind of worked for me occasionally. I get a cheeky half hour in the morning and then I get on with the stuff for the rest of the day. And
Interesting.
It's worked once or twice.
Early
so
morning games.
it doesn't have to be early. I know you might have other responsibilities, but that has worked for me from time to time.
That is an interesting suggestion. I might
All
have
right.
to give that a shot.
That is the tone of someone who's like, I do not want to.
Now, Galaxy, sorry, you've just been transferred across to Peter. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good. How familiar are you with adhesives?
Oh my God.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah? Okay, what you want to do is get a nice, strong adhesive, spray the back of your television, and stick it to the ceiling above your bed.
Oh, that's
I wouldn't go above a 65-inch television.
Particularly on a 45-inch ceiling.
Yeah. And then you can game in bed. You solve two problems in one go. You're doing both things that you love, sleeping and gaming, from the same place.
You could fall asleep playing video games and then do the patented
And then
Ronald wake up in the early morning,
keep on
roll
going.
over and keep going.
These suggestions are not recognised or endorsed by Aussie Broadband.
Or Ceilings Australia.
Ceilings Australia are the ones at the horn right now. Galaxy, do you feel like any of these have solved your problem?
I think they're very good suggestions, and I'll have to try the early morning thing.
Even the TV one?
Oh, as long as it doesn't fall on my face like the iPad and the Switch do, it should be alright.
Yeah, but you're familiar with adhesive, so it's fine.
You are familiar with adhesives. Galaxy, thank you very much for calling in. Stay on the line for a short survey about how we've helped you solve your problem today.
Thanks for your help, guys.
That was good. That was good advice, everyone. I think we did well. You were quite excellent. I don't know why
Well,
you were fired from this job.
it hit a nerve.
Oh, okay.
I
right.
feel like I've been there.
Yeah,
I feel like
okay.
I've been where Galaxy is, and I feel like I understand.
Well, I in fact, as your, well, I'm not going to say your-
Supervisor?
yeah, well, yeah, you know what? I am going to say it. As your supervisor.
I know. Let's face it. I need one.
You're exactly the kind of person that will get hired as a manager at a call center.
Oh God, you would.
Yeah.
Is that a compliment?
Yeah.
Yes. No, totally. Because he's like outgoing and fun, but like would know how to put people in their place if they needed it.
His hat's orange.
And his hat's orange.
So fun.
Whack! All right, I'm going to let you take the lead on this next call.
Okay.
Caller, are you on the air?
I am. Hello.
Hi. You're speaking with Stephanie today. Who am I talking to?
Oh, hi. This is Middle C, aka Chloe.
Hi, Chloe. What's your problem?
So I first of all actually genuinely wanted to shout out Aussie Broadband, who fixed my internet within 24 hours to allow me to actually appear on this segment. It's chilling, but it's also true. So there you go.
Love it.
But
Fantastic.
My real question is, so we've had a few major games come out very recently, and it's been a bit difficult to keep up with all of them. And I just wanted to know, how can I pretend to sound interested while people talk to me about the new hotness in gaming when I know nothing about it? And this in particular has come to me during all the talk about Elden Ring, because there's just been a lot of dudes, and they are invariably dudes, talking at me about like Soulsborne Wolfman 17 and like fake walls, and you know, I don't want to harsh anyone's buzz. Like, I'm a Destiny player. I know what it's like to talk at someone which is objectively nonsense while they stare at you blankly. So I was wondering if there were like any sort of gamer equivalent phrases to things like, you know, how about them Mets? Or like, you know, did you see the sports ball? Like things that I can just sort of pepper into conversation to like make someone feel heard, but also without having to like really know anything or engage at all in the topic.
How about that faith requirement?
Yeah, okay. I am uniquely positioned to answer this question for you, Middle C, so I'm really glad that you've come through to me today. Yeah, it can be tough, especially because you want to participate in the conversation and seem actively involved even though you don't care. So I would say the main thing here is, you know, people just love talking about themselves and they love talking about their experiences. So first up, just ask a lot of questions. People love questions because it gives them more of an opportunity to talk about them more. So do plenty of that. You can ask them about what class they rolled or like what weird boss they had to dodge, roll away from, and the hitbox and stuff. But I would say that the main thing that you can kind of guarantee to talk about without having any actual experience or knowledge of the game that will make you sound like you know what you're talking about is any kind of creature or boss in the game, because they're all so weird. So you can be like, how about that crazy knife swinging pig goat with the spider legs? And they'll be like, yes, that was a tough fight. Like, I really struggled with that. And even if that isn't in the game, they're going to be freaking out about the fact that they haven't encountered it yet. And they're going to be less of a like boss Elden Ring player. So they'll probably just go along with it and be like, oh yeah, that was a tough fight. How did you deal with that? And then you can just like say whatever you like. And then they're going to spend the rest of the game running around freaking Elden Ring world trying to find the big pig spider with the knife arms, being like, Middle C, how has she played so much of this game that she's found this
By that
creature?
stage, she's gone.
Yeah,
She's left.
Totally.
She went hours ago.
She's clearing every raid in Destiny in record time without even thinking about Elden Ring. So that's my solution.
That's good. And in a similar vein to that as well, Middle C, I would normally not suggest that you take on this kind of persona because we all find these people insufferable. But you are trying to get through a conversation with people who you admit are talking at you and not trying to have a conversation. I would just instantly go to, oh, you play Elden Ring. I prefer Demon Souls, personally. I prefer the earlier work.
Undercut them.
Yeah. And I would,
okay.
and don't even mention the PS5 remake. Like, back to the PS3 version that was like 12 frames per second and very muddy. Like, you basically take the thing that they're talking about and that they love and just immediately undercut it and pivot the conversation into something you feel more comfortable with.
Negging the conversation does sound like a very Dark Souls kind of tactic.
Oh,
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
Just crush your spirit and beat you down.
exactly.
Become the boss of the conversation.
The suffering is the prize.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting it now.
Yeah, I like that.
Good advice.
Angus, do you have any suggestions?
Look, nothing I could add to that would be any better. Well, what I would say is being talked at about video games sucks. As I'm someone who's been on both ends of it, but what I would recommend is sometimes asking them to suggest what it is in the game. Like you can actually say, I don't know anything about this game. What is it? How would you sell this game to me? Or like, what is it about this game that you think I might like? Because then they have to, at least it has to be what they talk about has to be reflective of you as a person as well. So it can't just be them telling you anecdotes about things you have no relation to. You can be like, hey, I like this kind of stuff. What about this game might I like? And then they have to at least put it through the lens of the person they're talking to.
Or flip the script and just be like, have you considered saving up a bunch of strange coins to give to the Proto-Galactic Star Horse, in the Dares of Eternity? Because I feel like that's a more thrilling conversation for everyone involved.
Maybe I just say the Star Horse is a boss in Elden Ring.
There it is.
There it is.
That's,
The merging
I'll
of
just
two
be
worlds. The
looking
merging
for
of
the
two
Star
worlds.
Horse for the next 80 hours.
Beautiful. Fantastic. I feel like there's some very excellent advice. Pete, did you have anything to add to that?
I would just say that if someone's talking at you, tell them to shut up.
Skip the dialogue.
Tell them to shut up. And then, if you can't skip dialogue, maybe just recite the plot of Zero Escape 999 to them.
That's good too.
Because that'll make them leave real fast.
Also, just ask what build they're running, and then they'll just go on and on and on, and you can just sort of slowly back out of the room.
They won't even know.
Most video games, I think you could say, what build are you running, and then just back out of the room. Middle C, thank you very much for that. We hope you have enjoyed your experience with the Aussie Gamer Helpline.
I very much have. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Oh,
it's exhausting.
yeah, that was a lot of help. I'm not used to helping that many people at once.
Do you think if we all got a rating for that call, I would rate the highest? Just because I'm looking for a team management position in this call center.
She's climbing the ladder.
And I think it really counts how I get rated.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
just am looking for a bit of feedback.
Well, you know what I like? Go-getters.
Mm-hmm.
I like someone who has taken the initiative, and I'm going to take a look at your application for
moving
management
up, baby.
while we take this very short break.
Yeah, I think I deserve it. Maybe we should talk about this not in front of the audience.
Okay,
though.
so okay. Do I have an argument about
yeah.
who's actually going to get the promotion between you two?
Listen,
Headsets off.
It's a pitch off.
Like
It's
last
a pitch
time,
off.
he
Okay,
was
look,
taking-
hang on.
He was taking his break.
Here at the Aussie Gamer Helpline, we know how much gamers dislike waiting for things like downloads and release dates, so here's a couple of our dads telling their best dad jokes for you to enjoy while you wait.
Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one.
Mountains aren't just funny, they're hill areas.
When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent.
What country's capital is growing the fastest? Ireland. Every day it's Dublin.
What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but their flag is a big plus.
Gus, congratulations on the promotion.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What?
I think if you have to ask for a peer review, then, you're not deserving of it. If you have to ask what people thought of your
I'm sorry.
skills.
Feedback from your co-workers is to be shunned?
No, I think it'll just come naturally if you work hard for it.
I'm just trying to keep an open dialogue between us.
This is becoming a toxic workplace.
It sure is.
We are live on a call right now.
Sorry. Hi. Sorry. Hi.
Congratulations. We're going to continue with the next caller, bring them in right now. And caller, are you on the line? Hello, Dump Days. Can you hear me? Dump Days, can you hear me?
Come in, Dump Days.
Dump Days, can you hear me?
What is your account number?
Start with your credit card number.
Dump Days, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello. Sorry, my internet's a little bit slow.
All good.
No, all good.
My internet's a bit choppy. Could you recommend a good internet service provider?
No one I know. I'm so sorry. I've just been
Aussie Broadband. The correct answer is Aussie Broadband. Guys, don't get this cancelled. Aussie Broadband.
You're fired.
And that promotion went to my
The
head.
promotion. Yeah, I'm taking that back.
He
Steph,
blew it. He
congratulations.
blew it on his first day.
I can earn it. Hello, Dump Days. Thanks for calling the Aussie Gamer Helpline. How can we help you?
Hi. Got a bit of a problem. I'm not a finisher. I've got a bit of a shame pile. I get easily distracted by new and shiny things. I get close to the end of a game and then I move on to the next. And I just need a little bit of guidance. How can I bring my games to completion?
Right. So you're easily distracted?
Sorry, what?
I'm asking. So you find yourself you're easily distracted by anything that's happening in the gamersphere.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was looking at something over here and I didn't catch the question.
There it is.
I do get distracted.
I got also distracted. We are on the same level. Dump Days.
I'm vibing.
Even I got that.
Steph got that. Oh, God. Guys, this is a serious problem.
Yes, sorry.
Please, let's.
Call center.
Let's not mock. Dump Days, that's a real problem. A lot of us face. We all have piles of shame. I'm pretty sure to say anyone who says they don't have one is lying. It is very hard. There is a lot coming out. There's lots happening. I personally put myself in a virtual cone of silence. I uninstall the games I don't want to be distracted by. I take that pile. I put it in a cupboard. I put the one game I'm playing on top of my console, like it's some kind of display unit at like a Retrovision or something. When they used to just put it in front of the one game, and I'm like, I am playing Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. That is the one game that is the disc that is in there, the game that is installed. The problem is, if you uninstall all the games you're not playing, when you want to install them later, you'll have to have good internet. Now, have I got the ISP for you? If you do get yourself some Aussie Broadband, you'll be able to uninstall and reinstall those games quick as a flash. Now, I know what you're saying. If that's just how if that's happening that quickly, why bother uninstalling them at all? It's all up here. It's all a focus game. So what you need
Sure
to
isn't coming out here to us.
So that's what I say. Clear your library and focus on one thing at a time, and just keep that library with one game in it. Is that a library if there's only one thing in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a crap one.
There you go. Have a crap library, Dump Days. How's that sound as advice?
It's advice. Yes.
Right, it is advice.
Well, I mean, I'll open it to the rest of the panel here. Anyone else have any advice for Dump Days?
Yeah, sorry, you're on the line with Steph, Dump Days. I'd say if you have trouble finishing, I would say just try, don't be so in your own head, just kind of focus and just clear your mind and just really, really concentrate. And then I feel like the next thing is to kind of think about your sort of list of games and all of the ones that are kind of really causing you mental anxiety, and just forget about them, because you don't need to finish anything. The fact that you've picked up a game and explored that world, even for a few seconds, is an exciting journey that most of the planet will never go on.
You're right. It's right. You're the real hero, Dump Days.
And whether it's 5 minutes or 500 hours, it's all part of your journey, and you shouldn't have to force yourself or get yourself excited about anything unless you really, really want to, and that's your choice.
And so, to piggyback on the back of my colleague's advice there, I think you should commercialize and capitalize your personality flaw, which clearly this is what this is. I think you should start some sort of YouTube channel. Dump Days plays the first minute of every video.
I love
that.
So
Dump Days forgets.
Dump Days forgets. Yep. Dump Days for days. I don't know what that is, but I figured I'd put your name in there somehow. You want to come up with some hook about I'm the guy that never finishes a video game. That's your point of pride. You play games all the way up until the point you've never seen the end of a video game. That's your hook. That's your thing. That's something that might attract a potential mate in the future. if that's something you're looking for, or we'll keep your current mate. I don't know why I keep saying mate as opposed to partner. But
Aussie word.
Yeah, but that's an interesting thing that potentially, Middle C comes up to you at a bar and is like, hey, I don't want to talk to that guy about Elden Ring. What's your deal? And you're like, I've never finished a video game my entire life. And they're like, oh, wow.
And think about it, you'll never be disappointed by an ending because you can it'll be the ending in your mind.
Exactly.
Unless
What's the
you
final
take
boss?
my
I've never
advice
seen
and,
one.
Hi, you're on with Peter Dump Days. How are you?
Hello, Peter. I'm good, thank you.
I take it the advice so far has been rubbish and you don't want any of it.
Well, I didn't want to. I was being polite, but
Okay.
you said
so
it.
here's what you do.
Yeah.
We're all still on the call.
So
Sorry,
here's what
that was someone else. The internet, someone else cut in. Sorry, the advice has been excellent.
So here's what you do. You download someone else's game save. It's right near the end, and you just do the final boss.
Ooh.
Technically finished. Didn't have to spend all the time playing it.
What if he becomes purely a finisher?
Oh, so not a starter.
You become the
Just
You
a
become
finisher.
the finisher. You could
Yeah.
start
Become
a
the
small
golden god.
business for other people like Dump Days who can't finish video games, and they send you your game save, and you just pick up from wherever they are and finish their game.
That would be so intense having not learned any of the mechanics or controls.
You can start with Elden Ring.
You know twists, you know who dies, you know who lives, you don't know who they are, you don't know what they're doing there. The whole rest of the game is a complete mystery to you, but you know how each game finishes, and that's your hook.
Don't know the controls.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing as going like, if you pick up a book and you start to get you're not interested in where the story goes, you just read the last page and you're like, well, now I know where it ended, and it doesn't matter what happened in between. Just finish those games by cheating your way to the end.
Think of the time you save.
I like that. Good. Do you feel like we've answered your call, Dump Days?
Yes, you have answered it.
We technically did
Technically,
answer
we
the
did.
call.
We did
answer
the
it.
call. We are speaking to
Yeah.
him on the phone, and goodbye, sir.
If you could rate us all individually after the call, that'd be great. Thank you so much. And our service, thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank
We've
you.
got one final call coming in to the Aussie Gamer helpline. And I'm going to get rid of Dump Days, and we're bringing in our final caller right now. Final caller, you are on the air. Hello, I believe I am speaking to a Mr. Red Knight. Red Knight, are you on the line right now? Red Knight. Red Knight.
Sounds like a
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you, Red Knight?
Yeah, doing really well.
Fantastic. I'm going to pass you over to Peter, who will be handling this call.
Hello and welcome to the call center. How can I help you?
Hello, Peter.
How
are you?
How do you know my name?
Because you said it.
Did I?
Well, somebody said Peter.
And what's your name?
My name is Red Knight.
Welcome to the show. I mean, the call center. What's your problem, Red Knight?
Well, my problem's actually a bit tricky because every time I try and play a first-person game, I always get like emotional video game sickness like an hour into it. And like I really enjoy playing these types of games like Cyberpunk or sometimes Destiny with my friends, but then I just have to call it quits like an hour and a half max. So do you have any tips of how I can extend my playtime?
So, grab your mouse. Have you got your mouse with you right now?
Yep.
Just lift it up, get a pair of scissors, and cut the line.
Oh, God.
See, the thing that causes motion sickness is motion. And if you can't move, the motion sickness won't be triggered. So what you can do now is just strafe around with WASD, and you're on your way. If you can bump yourself into some geometry that will turn the camera a little bit, that might help you progress. But by dropping the mouse entirely, you will not get motion sickness.
Okay, but what happens if I use a controller?
Was that a wired controller?
Have you picked up your controller?
Yes.
So the stick that's underneath your right thumb. Grab your scissors and cut that off.
Your thumb? No, I need my thumb.
Okay. Then get rid of the stick instead.
Does it recommend to ourselves?
Spoke about stuff. Red Knight, are you there?
Yes.
Red Knight, you're talking to Gus. Welcome to the Aussie Gamer Helpline. I just want to add some advice there. Often with motion sickness, that can come from, as you mentioned, a large amount of motion. What I could recommend is playing games that are like set maybe on like a boat. So that way you would feel motion sick on the boat, but you're already feeling motion sickness. So by the laws of averages, they cancel each other out.
It's called superposition.
There it is.
When the crest of one wave meets the trough of another perfectly, you zero out.
So that's what you're going for. You're going for a state of like zero gravity limbo bliss. And that means you do have to play predominantly in games set on boats.
Well, can I offer an advance on that potentially? You could go one further and instead just play all your games on boats. So you could go you could go on a boat and you get motion sick on the boat, but because you're playing the video game, it's like when two magnets are the same polarization and they sort of like reject each other. The motion sickness will reject itself because it doesn't know where it needs to get its motion sickness from, and it will just disappear. But I assume you're in a house right now, but if you could get some houseboat situation, you do most of your gaming there. That could potentially help.
Yes, that is great advice from my colleague Nick, but I then have to add that my previous advice of playing a game set on a boat should not be done when playing on a boat IRL, so that will cancel.
Because that will be a triple.
Correct, and then you're back to where you started.
In fact, if you want to play games on boats, you're going to have to sit in the back seat of your parents' car on a long drive.
On a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't think my ISP would be good enough to reach me all the way out to the middle of the water.
Well, have you tried Aussie Broadband and their floating modem?
Have you tried to claim that we can't verify? The other thing I would say is that potentially you could, along the lines of that, of the boat thing, just embrace the motion sickness and play games where motion sickness is supposed to be part of the game. So
always be drunk
in
Sea
space.
of Thieves?
Yeah, Sea of Thieves, like
VR.
VR. Play those. Yeah, VR. A big selling feature of VR is it'll purge what ails you. So just play games where you're supposed to be motion sick, and so therefore you're really awesome at the game.
Just embrace it.
Embrace it. Stephanie, do you have anything to add?
No, I do not. I think all of this advice is sound.
Okay, good.
I mean, to be fair, the only sound advice I might add on top of that that is practical is FOV sliders, which is often in first-person games. I don't know if you've toggled with them much, and it does depend on which title you're playing. But I think widening it for people who feel
wider.
A wider FOV if there's a slider can.
Yeah, you're going to want to take that FOV slider and then pick up a pair of scissors and.
But I mean, that doesn't help for everyone, but you can always start there as well.
Get rid of motion blur. Higher frame rates will also help as well. Cool. Furious Magician in the chat points that out as well. These things to make a smoother experience will potentially help. But I definitely also think playing most of your games on a boat is probably the best solution.
Also, because when you do feel sick, you can just like lean out the side and just so.
Oh yeah.
Just get that cool ocean
I thought you were going to say, like, throw up over the side.
Oh, that happens.
Yes.
Then afterwards, and then that...
But you know what? If you do lean over and you vomit, you just chum in the waters for the fishing trawler that you're already
Totally.
on.
You're feeding the gulls.
Yeah, it's good.
You're feeding the gulls.
Circle of life.
Yeah. Play Dota on a boat and chum the waters. That's what I always say. Red Knight, do you feel like we've helped you here today?
Oh, it's absolutely sound advice. Get a
Fantastic.
boat.
Brilliant.
Get a boat. Yes. Endorsed.
Oh, finally, the message got through. All right. Thank you very much, Red Knight. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Best advice yet.
I feel like,
helping people.
We nailed that. Yeah, we're so good at helping people. Yeah, I will say, if Red Knight gets a boat, we'd love an invite. We'd love to come play games.
Unless he's going to be throwing up all over that boat, in which case I think I'll stay home.
Nah, we'll toss him overboard. Just make for the waters.
We'll get there. Chris in the boat, stand in front of that big red ribbon. Mm-hmm. You standing in front of that ribbon right now?
I'm imagining it.
Yep.
Scissors?
Get yourself some scissors. You're on board that boat.
I already cut off my thumb, though. I can't operate the scissors.
Yeah.
Are you standing in front of that big red ribbon right now? That was, of course, the Aussie Gamer Helpline brought to you by Aussie Broadband. It's bloody good broadband. Said it once, now say it again. We're the real heroes. We'll be back with more Back Pocket after this very short break.
Wait, say one more thing before you do that.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I got there. It's fine. I just had to navigate. You know how you picked on me for not
Don't
navigating
talk
things?
more
before?
now.
And then I
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Vexia says that the shoes are called.
Come on.
Avexia. What's you know?
That's why I scolded him. Come on. Is the tagline for
Come on.
Welcome to the post show, everybody.
Go quick.
Go. I would smother him with that pillow.
Do you believe that a pancake is a?
Stand up and grab your.
Thank you.
I had those and they blew out.
They have cancelled my train.
They cancelled my Monday morning yoga class, so I understand your pain because that was a really nice way to start the week.
A big one of those gold things on his desk.
Yes.
Whatever it is, there's something about my.
I'm on their website and I can't find a single male facts and jokes being thrown around so hard.
There's no facts on this show. Thank you very much. You want to shoot your from your pants? Oh, show, mate. I can do whatever the I want.
The land is dying, and the machines are out of control. Whatever comes, I will be ready.
Welcome back to Back Pocket, and welcome to the very 9th Back Pocket Game Club. The Game Club is where we pick a game to play through on stream. There is no clapping for the Game Club.
No whoop either.
There is no enjoyment of the Game Club game this month. Let me guarantee that.
Hey!
To play through on our stream with our community. And at the end of the month, we go deep on that title. Full spoiler mode to break it down as much as we want. In the March Back Pocket Game Club title was Horizon Forbidden West, the open world adventure about a woman single-handedly bringing down Boston Dynamics. And speaking of women who I would want on my side during the robo post-apocalypse, the Game Club is brought to you by VegaBus. Thank you, VegaBus, for your continued support of not only
and clap that.
our right to party, but also our right to get annoyed at every single NPC who wants us to do something for them. Alrighty, Gus, you were lead on Horizon Forbidden West this month. Let's see how you went.
Titles, yeah! Forbidden West. Oh, how was that for a pen? Come on.
I guess that's the reason.
I guess I feel a bit foolish, don't I?
I'm an idiot.
Can't even
I guess that's my cue.
shave my beard,
Maybe I
right?
should go with
Why kill it like that? What do you think the tripwires are for?
Well, the tripwire just stunned it. Don't you mock me. Douche. Yeah, you see, you got it. Oh, shit. You're damn right I get a level 4 upgrade for that. That was awesome. Dead? Oh. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Pick up plants, pick up plants. Oh, copped a hoof to the face. Ah! I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Grizzly, no! That was the coolest bit of combat I've ever seen in a video game. Oh my god. Okay, okay, oh my god. Now the bird. No, no! Oh, it's daytime. Oh my god, would you look at this fucking game? Look at this! Fucking sand looks like this now. Water and sand look like this. We have waves! Actual waves! Fish. Fishy. Oh my god, the underneath of waves. We have the underneath of waves. There's foam. They can do... I'm gonna mainline the story. Sand! I'm gonna cry. This puzzle or more pretty. Oh, carbonara. Now I feel like that more than my Chinese food. Don't tell me that. Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Oh no! Are you serious? Oh. Dun, 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 dun. Put it down. Put it down. Okay, well that did nothing. Oh no, it's so mean. Ah! Genuine fear, genuine fear, genuine fear. Swim, 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 swim. Oh, me, 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 me. F off, I hate you. No. Just hit it anywhere. Just hit it everywhere. Now you're on fire. Now you're on fucking fire. Well, guess what? Now you're on acid. Try and be clever and... Why bother? Oh, just shut up.
It's done. When Gaia trapped it in Gemini, they knew where we were. They took Beta and Gaia. We're going to defeat the Zenith.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to stop Regala.
Yeah.
And keep an eye on the sky. It won't be long before we take the fight to the Zenith.
Yeah.
Be ready, Aloy.
Even when things are darkest, you're the flame that lights the way forward.
Aloy.
Peccary! We got so much fucking wildlife. Mr. Percival! There's a lot of tequila in that. How many started drinks? Oh, damn! A lot. There we got it. You better go up and like rip something off with yourself. Yes!
Hurry, Sire!
It'd be nice if he fell in lava. Oh, but the head! The head! Yes! He's angry. He's angry. Oh my god, he's so angry. He's clipping. He's clipping. Say hello to my little friend. Crap. Did you leave another gun for me? You did. Fuck yes. I bet the guy drilling downstairs is like, what the hell is that guy doing up there? What a ride.
Watching your face, you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that part.
I was excited fighting it, but I was fucking furious by the time I got it killed. And the other mammoth that was next to it. There's a T-Rex and a mammoth and a bird. It was too much. I got it. I got it. I got it.
So that was your experience of Horizon Forbidden West. I think we run the gamut of opinions on this one, but I do want to start with someone who not only finished the game, but I believe went back and did a lot of the optional side content as well. Gus, how was your time in the Forbidden West?
Yeah, look, there's a lot to dive into with this game, but overall I had a very positive experience with it. I hadn't played Zero Dawn, so this was my first outing with Aloy and into this world, and I don't think I could have come back to it Like I couldn't play a third, is what I'm saying. If I played the first one, I couldn't have played this because there was a
With
lot
enough
there.
time in between, though, you'd be surprised.
Maybe you're right, but I enjoyed the discovery of who this character was and what this world was for the first time. It's an incredibly beautiful world. It's a very rich, lush, amazingly thought out environment and not story. I'm going to steer clear of the story because that is the pitfall. But I had a great time. I was really craving an open world when this came out, it's such a lush, pretty game. I don't want to get hung up on visuals, but it just was the reason I could keep picking this back up because I just kept wanting to experience more of what the designers had built here. But as I pushed on through it, I found that the things the game thought I wanted to play were the things I wanted to do the least. So the main story and a lot of the grinding elements of crafting and all that kind of stuff was the stuff I was least interested in.
Sure.
I liked the freest moments of the exploration, which was just when I picked a heading and went off and just wanted to go and see what was over that hill and that kind of vibe, or what creatures I hadn't discovered yet, not because a quest was telling me to do so. And then finishing up on the actual story itself, the longer I played it, the more I learnt about this character, these characters, the world, the stakes, the less interested I got in it, which is a real horrible trajectory to come down after like 30 hours into a game. But as Nick mentioned, the moments I stepped away from this and went and did the side missions, which I think are incredibly strong and were very well self-contained little moments of play, and the moments I just went in to discover were the really rewarding, really satisfying moments in it. So in that sense, I'm very happy I've sunk this much time into it. I'm not that satisfied with this having finished it. And like all open worlds, the second you see the ending, the rolling credits, you don't go back in. You're like, I'll go back and do more. And it's no, I'm glad I went and did lots of stuff off to the side during that journey.
Yeah.
But once it's over for me. And that is the same with many open world games. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy to have played a Horizon game now. And I'm glad it was this one, not the previous one, just from what I've heard from people say how much of an improvement. And just, it does feel like a pinnacle game visually and open world wise. On a surface level, but yeah, there's a lot to pick apart with the rest, I think.
Yeah, so I'm far from finishing it. I like every game club, I do as much as I can, but I feel like you, it's come at a good time for me because I'm playing this and I'm also playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla again, which are two open world games that like
200 hours a game ahead.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I've been playing so many different kinds of games, and because I was so daunted by the prospect of these that I'd kind of put them aside altogether. And playing them now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I loved being here and how much I loved this. And I think you're so right in that, like, even though it seems like a surface level thing to say, the world is so beautiful and there are so many things to do in it, whether or not the sort of combat and the story and the depth of it is kind of up to scratch for what we would expect for a game or what you're looking for out of the experience. Like for me at the moment, that is enough. Just being in this world and doing things and just exploring the landscape, I think I'm enjoying that so much. I'm definitely enjoying it now. Peter suggested just dropping all the settings way down.
Yeah.
Because I think the difficulty settings, where there are certain times when I'm just like, oh man, this I can feel myself getting lazy with fights and stuff because I don't have to try or like approach fights with much strategy because I've dropped the settings down, and I think about turning them back up because I'm like, this is kind of sucking some of that enjoyment out for me. And then I'm like, I remember that there are so many things that you have to kill and so many things that are constantly interrupting your experience, and the combat isn't actually fun enough for me to want to continue with it at that level, that it's actually the better way to do it if you really want to be in this world for everything it gives you visually and from a world building exploration perspective.
And it's a tiny note on that. It is frustrating that the game is more fun the more you sink in, the more hours you sink into it, and the more gear you unlock and the more gear you purchase and play with. Because I feel like just mainlining the story, just playing this on minimal equipment with minimal upgrades and everything, you would feel like it's not giving you're not playing with the combat the way it's intending you to do so and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I really enjoyed the fact that I went and spec'd myself up a little too much because suddenly the combat was a bit more of a dance. I had heaps more options. I was like, this is great, but would have been very easily missed had I just
Well, it's also because just like every fight, like because it is a game that is so reliant on resources and speccing yourself up, it's like you can't just really go into every fight and just sort of spam your way through things or stealth kill everything, because you need to be taking out all the weak points to get all the materials that you need. Because in order to like get all those materials from creatures, you can't just kill them. If you hit all the weak spots first, their little pieces come off them and then you get more resources from them. So it's like every fight has to be approached that way if you want to get all the maximum resources to get your character spec'd up. So that is where it becomes a bit of a grind and a time sink, and that's only fun and engaging for so long. So I think that dropping the difficulty settings down, it feels like a bit of a cheat, but I think I will ultimately enjoy this game a lot more because I'll get to see more of it, because I will continue with more of it as a result.
Yeah, you powered through this. You were the
sure
first one of it. Like, you finished it in a weekend.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many hours I put into it. I dropped the difficulty once I hit level 30, which was after the head falls on that dude.
Yep. So you're near the tail.
I was going into the final act.
Which, to be fair, is like a lot of games do tend to pad out the combat at the end because they're just like, we need boss fights to go for longer and challenges to spike, and sometimes it doesn't feel earned. So that's the right time to do it.
Having not played the first game, I really enjoyed the slow combat, the deliberate combat. I didn't knock off a lot of important components. Even if I was trying to, it was more just like it takes all of your ammo to kill a big thing.
Yeah.
That's how the game is designed. You're crafting mid-fight because you run out of all your stuff. And I thought that was fun for 3/4 of the game. And then I was like, I'm really over this. They just throw big things with more health at me now. That's what this game is.
They also throw them at you in, there's a bit in that montage, at shit arenas, which are just like, suddenly you're just in a big space. Whereas the rest of the game has been like, hey, go there at night, hide in the bushes, lure it over there, hunt something like it's a wild creature. And the tail of the game has a lot of fights that just say, hey, fight this one now fight this one. And you're in an arena with none of that. It's just like, as Pete says, just use your resources and weapons. So
I really liked navigating the world, not climbing, navigating the world, like seeing areas being uncovered. It felt like a really natural progression. It had the thing I like about open worlds of feeling like you're in an area that was too powerful for you sometimes.
Yep.
You'd gone the wrong way, and you need to just follow the quest marker. But ultimately, I felt like the story was fine. It's dumb science fiction story, but the writing was awful. I hated all the character interactions and started skipping them much earlier than I dropped the combat difficulty down, and it turned out for basically mainlining, I did the side missions I found were the most satisfying, but for basically mainlining the main quest, I found that there is so much of this climbing in it as an important part of the game, and it is like actually bad. I would call the climbing in this game bad. It's not even competent. It's unfun.
It's been done better in so many more games.
So many
these
different
days,
games.
which is, but as a point of comparison, you're right. It is worth criticizing it because it's better in everything.
And I think part of that is because of Aloy's movement, right? Like for me, it's that she is so clunky to move.
Yeah.
So when you need to do any precision platforming stuff, it's like I'm constantly misstepping and missing jumps and not easily doing the sort of like reach around and jump to a new thing, and that just works. Like that, it just doesn't. It doesn't have a visual language that makes me sure of what I want Aloy to do is what is going to happen with.
And the visual language was literally, here's lines that the developers were using to make sure they built a path. We're showing you those.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And
it's hard as well because, like I said, I'm playing Assassin's Creed at the same time as this, which is like the game where you can just move and fluidly over everything.
Yep.
And while I understand not every game has to be like Assassin's Creed because that gives you a lot of free reign that maybe the developers don't want you to have, it's hard at this point of game development and open world understanding that you would put a character in a room with a ledge that is like this tall and be like, she can climb on this one but not that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
She can't pull herself out of water if it's here, not
yeah,
here.
yeah.
and stuff, which,
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It
It
doesn't
sounds
make,
like we're
and it
nitpicking, but in a world
stupid.
where it's this fleshed out and this
You spend so
beautifully
much time in it.
Totally.
The little frustrations become huge frustrations when you have to do them so many times.
True.
And so ultimately, like, I finished it. I was glad that I saw the end of it because I didn't know how batshit the story was. Like, it's actually like dumb weird, and I thought that was fun. But by the end, by turning the difficulty down, I was able to just kind of power through to the end of the story, and I enjoyed that for what it was. But I found the frustrations of the gameplay ultimately made it like a pretty average experience for me. I still think it's really good. It's great value. Like, it's a huge game, and it's really polished for the most part and detailed. That you do get a lot out of it if you want to put time into it and explore all those side missions and stuff. There's heaps of game in there. So.
This isn't a criticism. I'm a little sad that you didn't find the time to just in between it. Maybe you did just go, I'm going to go in that direction for no reason or something, which is a hard thing to...
I did do that.
Okay, yeah, because for me, those were the moments where I was like, it's picking in between story beats and when you think, all right.
I cannot mainline a story in an open world game. I can't.
Yeah, okay, but the difference between getting distracted by things that are saying come over and do this versus open worlds that make you just go, I'm just going to mess around versus I'm not going to go and do another shopping list of things. It's like,
okay.
and
I
for
like
me-
the shopping list.
I know, that's why I was saying for me, those were the few moments I found in this where I'd find something eventually to either a puzzle or something, but I didn't know what I was heading over to, and though I wish it did that more.
And particularly, I think like the thing that really liberated that in this game was getting the flying mount in the last 5 seconds of the game.
Yes. Literally, like the last mission, you can commandeer or override a pterodactyl. You use it for the last mission, and I think you might get one little breath in between to be like, hey, if you want to go do other stuff on it, you can. And by that time, the carrot is being dangled in front of you of the
You're at the
ending
end
that
of
you're
the
just
game,
like, I'll do this, and then I'll go back. Then I saw those credits. And to be
This
fair,
is full spoilers, Charcoals. This is a full spoiler conversation. That's what's happening in this game club right now.
Yeah.
If you actually don't want anything spoiled, I would bail now because we're going to talk about the ending for sure.
Definitely. Although the credits, to their credit, let you fly through them on a pterodactyl.
Hey.
And that was me going, oh, that was great.
But do you have control of it?
No.
They don't let you.
I liked
watched a
watching it.
video of
It was
Halo.
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Nick.
Look, yeah. A lot of this is me. I'm just not the open world guy.
Yeah.
Unless it is a really astonishing open world. And so
Or different
I
in
think
the
that,
way it's...
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think the thing for me is that so much of this game is just fine. And when you put so many things that are just fine together for a minimum of 25 hours, it's an overwhelming amount of like nothing is special. I think the only thing, hey, nice. The only thing,
Where's the klaxon?
I can play it.
No, please don't.
the only thing that we have pointed out that was really different for me between this and the last one is the visuals. I do think it looks astonishing. It looks great. And so I think to not discount that because I think for the developers as well, it's kind of like, this is the new thing that we did. We did this and you can go under the water. And those are the two new things that we added to this video game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's basically the other one.
This is just... Why do you think it's reviewing so well?
I think that a lot of people love open world games. I think it is a game that is fun to play in the moment to moment. But if you're like me and you look for something more than just the repetitive rote, like doing that thing over and over, then I never felt that I was really advancing through something that was particularly different. I played about 15 hours. And then I went, I'm really not enjoying this. And I watched all of the cutscenes on YouTube. We'll get to the story. So there's that. I think it's a very big prestige game as well. It is super shiny. It's the big thing. It's kind of
It's
like
doing everything well. As
there is
you
a
said,
base
everything's
score that
fine
this
or
game
well.
just kind of gets for existing.
Yeah. As a competent entry, it's an 8 by default because it is a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
In a world where the world is desperate for a PlayStation game. Anyone who's got PS5 at least. And you're totally right. And it's like the marketing push for this. As long as the game worked, and it does, and it works quite well.
It doesn't have a ton of bugs. It looks great. It plays the way that you expect. It's got a really it's got a strong female, identifiable, landmarky kind of character. Like it's like a franchise leader kind of character. All those things. I just go this and Days Gone. This is miles ahead of Days Gone. It is miles ahead of Days Gone.
Dying Light.
Dying Light, thank you very much. Yes, which is came out relative, and I had all the same issues with, but I would 100% play this over Dying Light every day of the week. But it just felt like it just kept doing the same thing over and over again. And then I was getting some quotes from Pocketeers and stuff for this, and the first one that we got, Pete, from Jules J, I think totally nails it, which is, I keep thinking how incredible this game might have been with almost the same DNA as a linear and tightly executed experience with incredible set pieces a la Naughty Dog. Increasingly, I've been finding the open world design to be a poor fit for single-player story-driven games, as it has the effect of disrupting the story's progression, creating an awkward sense of the character's progression over or under level for a particular mission, and artificially lengthening the playtime by spacing everything out so far apart from each other and locking fast travel behind clearing the fog of war. I think that's totally right. Yeah. And the other thing I would add to that is that as I was going through it, you're talking about wander off into that direction, that sort of thing. Again, this is a me thing. I just don't really play games like that unless they're built like that, like Zelda, like Elden Ring, where it's you have to go over there because this is the map. But I feel like if this was 10 hours and most of the same stuff, it would just feel so much more focused, and it would feel like you're really taking me through a rollicking story as opposed to trudging through this world and constantly being interrupted to fight or talk to these people who I really don't give a shit about. And we did mention it the first time we spoke about it, but Aloy as a character is not excited by this adventure. I don't need her to be happy about this adventure. I need to have her to have a gamut of emotion, a variety of feelings about this thing, so that I can go on her emotional journey with her. And I did not at all. And so therefore I'm if you can't muster the enthusiasm to be pissed off or excited or thrilled or horny for whatever's going on here, then why do you expect me to feel?
I think you nailed it when you said she is just lawful good. She is just she is a human with a very virtuous job to do, and every conversation she has is I've just I played through a section where she's having conversations with people who are just wow, saving the world, that's a big job, and she's I've just got to do it, and they're do you want any help? She's no, I've got to do it alone. They're could be easier if you had some help. She's please stop asking. I have to do it alone. Yeah. It's oh,
and then they follow her anyway.
Yeah. So I totally get that. I can't. It's so interesting when you present it as a shorter option. I'm trying to think if it was a Tomb Raider style game. You know, Tomb Raider became not open world, but it became a linear experience, but you could move between parts of the map a little bit more.
Yeah. And
maybe that would be right.
And I do think that the other thing, and again, totally for me, open world games are fucking enormous and so many people love them, so I'm not saying that they're bad. But I stop seeing the world that I'm in, and I just see
a town of 20.
And I also just see the code of the thing that I need to do, which is run around here and collect these herbs. This is the herb area, and this is the area where these kinds of robots are, and this is the area where these kinds of robots are. I need to go here for this component, and I need to pick up these herbs and these twigs here. And I stop going, look at this pond, this river, and I'm just yes, water delivery device, 2 herbs. And it's just all right, but in a single player game, I'm kind of being hand-led through an experience, and then I go, wow, I'm
the
really
camera's being forced onto things.
Totally, as opposed to just constantly spinning around going, where are the herbs?
You go back to Jules J's comment about it being a more tailored Naughty Dog kind of experience where as soon as you said that you're so aware of everything, I remember watching the cutscene in one of the Uncharted games where Joel reconnects with his brother at a hydro dam, hydroelectric dam.
Wait, hang on. Uncharted? Or
oh, sorry, not Last of Us.
I said I was thinking
I maybe said Uncharted, but it wasn't.
You're Peter.
Yeah. Death Knight? I can't remember.
Red Knight.
Red Knight. And so you have that experience, and you're not really. It doesn't just give you broad shots. It's kind of focused in, and then suddenly you're in a space, and the context all comes together, and it's oh wow, this is really tactfully delivered.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it just to then go back onto the story itself, and you mentioned before, Pete, that it gets batshit and really ramps up in terms of the stakes, the antagonists, all that kind of stuff, and it really just comes rushing through.
It was it was like a Saturday morning cartoon.
And it all comes rushing
Are
through
you,
the
are,
door
you,
at the end.
are you talking about? Sorry, just back to the,
The other
the
game.
last of us. I'm sorry. Are you talking about the section where he they go to the dam and
In
he
the first one, yeah.
Near the end.
Where he reconnects with his brother.
That whole sequence was to cover loading.
There you go.
There you go. And
Amazing.
Again, that doubles the
That was one of my
tact.
favorite moments in the game, and I remember talking to the developer, and it was I was just like, that moment just felt so human
And he was
and
like,
unique,
"Oh, it's
and
just
it was
added
a
loading
beautiful moment between those two people, and I felt like I was witnessing something really organic. And he was like, "Yeah, it's amazing what we have to do to cover loading in an artful way," and I was like.
Never meet your heroes.
I was impressed.
But yeah, the story ramps up at the end. It all comes rushing to the door at once and really fucks it up, I think, because of that. I was like, oh, you were just really throwing the exposition in at the end, and it's all getting weird and wacky and all that kind of stuff. And the problem there for me is that, again, maybe I hadn't experienced the first game and therefore I knew where the stakes had gone and they had to build on top of that maybe. But this world is enough for me. This crazy, this world,
You didn't need the universe.
this dystopia with these machines and where they've wound up. To what you said before, or what Jules J said about maybe this could work as a 10-hour linear experience. Has anyone had not the balls, but to not have a story in this game? What if you could just go and buy and play Horizon Forbidden West, and it's a huge open
Talking about
world.
Sons of the Forest.
Sons of the Forest.
You're talking about Elden Ring.
I think
to an extent, yes.
I think people want a motivation and they want to feel like they're working towards something.
No, look, I'm not
But it
saying
doesn't-
strip
it do-
entirely.
It
but-
doesn't need to be like an acid trip.
Yes, it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need a protagonist who then, not only is the story getting really painful to go through, but the protagonist is pained in it. And I'm like, you don't want to be here for that reason. I don't want to be here because this is just getting dumber and dumber.
All you need to do is say to the character at the start, there is something at the end of this road that you do not want to see.
Well, I think for me, and I don't want to turn it. Well, I feel like I've very tactfully turned everyone against this game with the story, which is crazy. The story in this game is
crazy. Even implies good though. It gets.
It's just
I think it gets. I think it's great. It's because it was not ruining anything special.
Yeah,
that's what made it special to me. And I didn't have the connection to the first game. I didn't really know what was set up other than what they give you at the start of this game. So I understood that there were she was a clone of a scientist who I believe we knew went off world.
Yes.
Let's spoil the end of the game.
Yeah.
You're rebuilding an AI that is designed to
create life and repopulate and
terraform.
It's like a terraforming system to fix Earth after we destroyed Earth. We're on Earth.
Gaia, yeah.
Yes, Gaia is the system, and the scientists that built Gaia left for another planet. Some of them left for another planet, and some that were thinking that Earth was doomed anyway left for another planet a millennia ago. They got to that other planet. On that other planet, they pissed something off.
Yes.
They ran back to Earth.
They were like, thank God we left Earth behind.
They
We can just
came
go
back, and then the misdirect for the whole game is that you think that these people have come back because they want to reclaim Earth or use the Gaia AI so they can take over or take it away or do something like that. And then you realize at the end that no, this was a pit stop for them. They just came back to Earth. Maybe to get some of that AI, to get that AI to fuck off and make another planet somewhere else, because that thing that they pissed off, which is kind of a Mass Effect
is tailing them
entity, it's like a big blob of energy that's
darkness?
pissed off.
Yeah.
Darkness, it's the Never-Ending Story, is chasing them back.
Destiny.
So they came to pick. There's the darkness in Never-Ending Story.
Oh no, I know.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's no. That's the nothing, Gus.
Oh, the nothing, not the darkness. But yeah, and that's what they're doing. The twist is that that you stop them from doing that, and then I forget his name. The guy from Destiny does the voice. Silas is like, great, now we've killed them. We can all leave with the thing and disappear from that scary blob that's
because the
coming
Mega
down.
Doom is coming.
Because the Mega Doom is coming. And then Alo's like, no, I'm going to stay and we're going to fight it. He's like, you can't, it's going to kill everyone. And then he's like,
save the world.
And then he goes, and then he goes, I guess I'll stay too. And that's the end of
Which
the game.
is so bad because he should have left because he's the only good character in the game.
Agreed.
Commander Zavala.
Yes, Zavala Silence, he does so much work to move the plot forward, more than any other character, more than Aloy.
Beautifully spoken.
And every time, yeah, absolutely, amazing, ready. Every time that she communicates with him, and I probably missed something in the first game, but she's just such an asshole to him.
Jules J says, Pete, you forgot Errand.
I wish I could forget Errand. I wish I could.
Don't you need my help for this?
In the first game, he kind of betrays her from memory. It's like a soft betrayal.
Yeah.
Because he ends up like releasing
the red signal dust.
The thing. So there's some leftover resentment.
I got that at the start, right?
Yep.
That she was trying to kill the bad AI from the last game. She believed she'd done it, and then he kept it alive because he felt like he could get information out of it.
Yeah.
It's basically we caught Fidel, and the CIA kept him and now he's working for the American government.
And then the real stretch in this game that even I found a stretch was the idea that then he was setting up that tribal war with Regala and all the other tribes because he wanted them to all go to war with each other for some reason.
He was trying to make her army really strong so that they could attack the base and kill the fancy people from space.
So a lot of
people from
a lot of people in chat are saying that our synopsis of the plot is wrong.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that this is proving my point.
Yeah.
Which is that I think that the storytelling is borderline unpassable.
It's writers'
It
room,
is
like
so
mass writers all.
Yeah, it is so difficult to for me. It is so difficult to understand what is going on in this game. Part of it is that everyone has a dumb name. And that what they've done is everyone has a sort of like new world name, like the CEO, which appears to be a misinterpretation of CEO, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so there's this stuff where everyone has a name that also sounds like a program, that also sounds like a robot, that also sounds like a tribe. So when they start talking about people, I don't know if they're talking about people or programs or tribes or spaceships or planets. Everything has a proper noun style.
Chat, watch me every conversation. Just go.
It's like Destiny storytelling where you just go, there should not be this many capital letters in a sentence. Like, you have to stop naming fucking everything. Because as soon as you do, you remove emotion from it. Everything is just like, you just keep referencing the shit that these characters have.
I know. I understand your aggression, but that to me is why it works, because it wasn't ruining anything because it already sucked.
No, so
the big dumb shit was like, oh, cool,
some
big dumb
I
shit.
can latch to that are like, yeah.
And so, but then the other half of that is that the way that they tell the story. I think that the strange thing is that I'm gonna piss so many people off, and I'm so sorry for what I'm about to say. This is why I really I'm so sorry, Steph. This is why I really dislike D&D, because whenever I play D&D or whenever I see people play D&D, they're always telling stories where I'm like, it's not really a very good story. It's fun that you're in this and that you're having fun.
And you have control over a lot of it.
But telling a good story is phenomenally difficult. So there's a reason that most people aren't writers. And so when people play D&D, I'm just like, I know why it's fun for you right now, but when I'm sitting in here, I'm just going, this is a really crap story. And this game made the decision to tell a huge story, to make story an enormous part of its video game. There are 6 hours of cutscenes beyond just actually conversations with people. And so to take a swing and make a huge story-based game and whiff so hard on your storytelling and characterization and dialogue in every single possible moment I'm like, it's so disrespectful of like your audience to go, we think this will hold your attention, and it's just awful, and I'm so sorry.
It is, in the sense that it's also like, and I'm not making this as a bit, it's also like the way hamburgers these days just have to be like 20 layered because they think this is what people need in a cafe now.
Like donuts
and it's
great
like
analogy.
so cool.
Yeah, and a milkshake on top of
and
it.
everyone likes to look at it and gives it an 8, and then you order it, and you're like, this.
IGN gave that hamburger an 8.
I can't wrap my head around this. Again,
All
the
mouth.
analogy. Well, that was the analogy. But at the same time, I don't actually want any of these bits here. When at the end of the day, like the simple premise of what's there is really good, which for me is like, I play this whole game and there's all this fucking big bad and space and everything, and I'm like,
So why are the animals robots?
I still think, which is the interesting thing from the first game. It's interesting
so
that they are
interesting,
terraforming
but I feel
little fucking.
It's so interesting that I want to play 3 to 4 games about that before they go, what if we go to space, or what if the story gets too big for its own boots?
Yeah.
I want to play, and I assumed that's what this was going to be. Sure, I could go and play 1, and then I'd understand all the lore and stuff, but I still don't think 1 game's enough to be like, this is how this world
You
works.
need to put this game into 4 hamburgers. Like, you need to spread this game out. The final thing I say, and then I'll stop right here, is that in terms of the story, I think that it's a really, to me, it feels like Aloy has no personal motivation. She just feels obligated to do this thing.
Yeah.
And so, because I think if you're going to do an epic sci-fi tale, it needs to be like, alien species kidnapped my child, or
I was just about to say, but if you want to give her personal motivation, then it'll be like someone is captured or died, and she has to go and find them or avenge them.
But the point with that is that
At least in the first game, she was like, "I'm trying to find out this mystery about who I am," and that was kind of cool because that was an interesting.
But then
thing.
what about? But it needs to be. There needs to be a one line. You need to be able to like summarize your story in one, like your character's motivation in one line. And for her, is like stop the end of the world. Is like no,
which should be because she's burdened by the fact that, which the game kind of touches on. It's like, I'm the clone of Elizabeth, therefore I'm the only one who can do this. But what if she therefore is like Ellie, like refusing anyone who tries to get close to her, like to the point that it pains her.
But that's just another cliche, though. I feel
it's
like
a cliche, but it's
like
more
I never asked for this, you know.
No, but what if she's like, I wish I didn't have to be the only one who had to do this, but I do, and I'm like, I'm ripped apart inside.
She goes on an arc. She needs to go on a character arc. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. And I got nothing.
One of my favorite characters in media is Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica. Because she was so flawed and brave, but sometimes stupid and like unpredictable. And I love kind of going on a journey with flawed characters and feeling like you're watching them grow and make decisions that were better than the decisions that they made before, and then make self-serving decisions one way, but they turn out okay, and then making another decision that was maybe selfless and then fucked everyone over. You know, all of that kind of stuff is really great. Having a character like this, I agree, is just so... It feels...
It's wasted.
It's hard to get behind. But I think I also kind of understand the weight of everything hanging on like Guerrilla to create this game, which is a franchise that is beloved. The previous game was beloved, and they had to create a big sequel with this character. You know, you've got like Naughty Dog making decisions with like very complex characters in The Last of Us, and people just fucking hating that because they were like, wait a minute, you can't say that this is what she wants and that's her motivation, and actually now I'm doing this. It's like, I'm not saying that the decision is right to keep it generic. I'm just saying, like, I also understand that they're working on a game that they're trying to please a lot of people with. It's a big franchise game for Sony, and they've served up one of the most beautiful open worlds on a platter with an interesting sci-fi concept. And there's a lot of stuff to do, and there's a kind of a weird story to it.
But like, that's a testament to how quickly we gave it that 8 and moved on to sinking into this, because you're right, it is all those things perfectly. And it's like how quickly we went, we all agreed that we had fun in the combat and exploring. And
I just think that, like,
it's
with all of the negativity, like, let's not forget that it's just like it's a beautiful open world game with like a lot of time and energy and love that's gone into it. And I'm totally enjoying playing it. I'm going to keep playing it. I don't know that I'll finish it, but I'm going to keep playing it.
And that's what I was going to. The weirdest part about all of this is I want to keep playing it because I'm like, missing something, and I want to get in. Like, I do like being in that world in terms of like, I think it is such a cool environment. I think the lore is dope about the idea of like the robots and like the post-apocalypse and all that sort of stuff.
There's
I do want to
cool
keep
set pieces as
going
well.
back.
You get to be a part of, as opposed to just
whether or not this is relevant. Like a lot of people then weighing in on the idea of like, oh, okay, for this is different because people are rejecting a female protagonist who's not interested in her story. I gave up playing Days Gone because of that Deacon St. James. I was like, you suck. You're not interested in your story, and I'm walking away from you here. I'm just seeing it now in this game, and so therefore the context is that, you know, I think it was disappointing because I think she's an interesting format for a character. I think like her where she's come from and how she's designed and everything about her is great. But I was just like, those moments of being like, I've dropped other characters for similar reasons in other games.
And again, and we said this last time. For me, it's not that she's angry. It's not that she's grumpy. It's not that she's pissed off or rude or whatever. Like, I want her to be all those things. I actually want her to be those things. She's none of those things. She's just bleh. And so she just doesn't really have a character. So that's the actual problem. I want her to be an angry woman. Go for it. Be something, but you're not. Speaking of angry women who we've had in chat, you hit me with a 3. Hit me with middle C, who said, it was interesting to me that so much of the criticism of this game on release seemed to be directed to how samey it felt to the first one, but the stories couldn't have been more different. Horizon Zero Dawn was a personal story of self-discovery, which is ultimately wrapped up in the unraveling of the mystery world. Horizon Forbidden West was a true sci-fi saga with galactic stakes. I kind of love how Forbidden West really went for it. I don't know what you were talking about in terms of departing from the original game story, but I did miss the emotional gut punch of Horizon Zero Dawn, which I think kind of backs up what we were saying there.
Yeah.
But there is going to be a third one because it did end on a sort of like cliffhanger about like, kind of ended the first as the same one with that sort of like something more is about to happen. What do you want to see, Gus, from a third game, even though you said that you probably won't go back?
I feel like it would have to be drastic in terms of like they go off planet and it changes the format entirely, which I know is not what they'll do because they'll play it safe. But for me, as I said, I was so intrigued with just the setting of this world. There's enough of a reason to go back and play 1, but I feel like you can't just... The idea of having the spin of these techno tribes living in a land taken over by nature, and like it was such a unique premise for 1 that then they did it all again in 2, and then it really, as for me, felt like that ending was just like, oh, and there's the opportunity to do something quite drastic. I would love to see it do that. I don't know if they will. I would love them to. I mean, I guess the idea is they stayed on Earth, didn't they? Damn it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But I guess it kind of has to be like all the tribes unite to fight the big thing that's coming.
I guess my brain is getting hung up on
tactical strategy game.
My brain is hung up on the setting.
It's a 4X game.
Yeah, they've done every environment in this game, and I loved that. I thought this game was going to be desert versus the super deserty, and it was like, oh no, it's everything. It's like lush jungles. It's like Sequoia National Park. It's tropical island. It was
Vegas, baby.
It was Vegas, baby, in the desert. Literally sand dunes, snowy peaks,
and there are all kinds of different robot animals.
They are. And how did they become the animals?
No beavers.
No beavers.
But I feel like they've done every environment and they did them so well. You saw me gushing about it, but it's just like
when you get on the boat and go across to the sand land.
Tropical Island was very good. But I wonder, like, for me, a backdrop, the cover art is like really important to what it is. The first one's snowy tundra. Second one, they're on a beach shooting a bow up in the air. I'm like, I don't really know where they could go with the next one that would be interesting for me as a setting because they've done every biome. So
Back in time. She's running around the streets of London.
That's a time more than a place, but
the streets of London.
It's something weird. She goes to a futuristic city.
So that's
but in the past, in current time cities.
I'm confused.
That is what I think.
Riding a robot beaver.
Even though they are different genres of games.
He says Japan.
Oh, that's amazing. The Aussie Manny, oh my god, I would shit if the next game, the subtitle just says Monday. Speaking of Last of Us Part 2, I do think that there were parts of that game that I didn't like, but that is a game that totally sticks with me. And and particularly the swing it took of changing perspectives, right?
Yep.
I think that in order to really make something special, we know what this game is already. So I would love if they did something totally wild.
Take a swing. That's what
and
they
just
need
go
to do
like
with the third one.
really, because the first one was successful. The second one has been really successful, massively sold. Unfortunately, came out right before Elden Ring in the way that the first one came. I mean, the good news is whatever comes out 2 weeks after the third game is going to be fucking incredible. But you've already got your audience there. I feel like you're going to sell X amount of copies of Game 3. take a big swing and do something genuinely different because I feel like it's
Totally.
Put her as fish out of
it's-
water. She can't. Yeah.
I can't imagine that they will, though. I think for a game like this, if Gorilla, even if there was someone like there was a Nick at Gorilla who was like, you know what, guys, let's just fucking go for it. Let's
Let's
like
make it a
this, like-
fucking beaver game.
Imagine Sony. I can imagine Sony being like, no.
Yeah.
Even though Sony did publish The Last of Us Part 2, I feel like it's a very different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
And for a franchise like this, we are playing Aloy. It's open world. It's a weird sci-fi story. There are robots. That's the game we're playing.
Yeah. Loki Cat nailed it. Game 3 players beta, whatever they called it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if have you watched any of this stuff?
Nah.
Do you want to? Well, you're in a spoiler discussion.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, it's fine.
There's another clone of Lisbeth, and it is the aliens. They're not aliens, humans, but space.
The ones that shot off to space while they were there made
space.
another clone of her. So there's another Aloy, but she's not.
She looks almost modern day. Like
yeah, she's short hair.
She's wearing space.
She's wearing space pajamas. Yeah.
Nice.
And she didn't grow up with any of the things that made Aloy the hardened tribal, kick-ass character she is. She's just
But she's basically like a DNA slave to the fancy space people.
Yeah.
They need her DNA because Lisbeth is has so much effect on all the systems they've built.
But that would be a wild twist to go. Yeah. You are her on the spaceship heading to the new thing or whatever. You are still playing the same character, but that to me would be like, I am in. I will finish you.
You know what's happening over at Gorilla? They're like, guys, we have 3 more compass directions. We have to go with yet.
Horizon, sexy south.
Sexy south.
Good. Okay. And then there was.
That's my favorite line in the game that I've heard so far, where somebody meets her and goes, "Listen, you're not in some forgotten corner of the East now. You're in the Forbidden West."
I know. That's in the first few hours of the game. Doesn't it just sum up how bad the for the next 20?
My favorite line related to that was I got really hooked on going to all the rebel camps and just wiping out all the human NPCs, not the robots. It was just like a Shadow of Mordor kind of thing. And I spec'd her out so much that I had every stealth murder. It was brutal. I was stabbing people through the back of the neck and all that. And I think I took out a tribe that was just on the cusp between where it starts to snow and where it stops to snow.
Oh, yeah.
So chat watched me murder someone with a spear and go, and spear and on the ground, blood, stab. Snowflakes are on my eyelashes. That's what she said. I'm like,
oh, really? Oh, my God.
That's what her character, she's like,
oh, it was like a voice line that was triggered.
It was triggered because I walked into the snow just after murdering someone and I was like, oh my God, she's a psychopath.
That is hilarious.
That's actually the most interesting character thing about her.
That's
going to be amazing, though, if that becomes her tagline, later at the end of the game of Horizon Zero, whatever, 6 games in, she kills someone and she's like, snowflakes on my eyelashes.
And then the third, can we just bring up the remaining number 2 for the Pocketeer quote from Tim Char, who said, speaking to Gus, what you were talking about, to end on a positive, love the side quest in the game. One that really hit home was the side with Korra, I think, after helping him and his sister's tribe and then getting him, and then helping him later build his musical instrument. You can go back to Plainsong hours later and he's playing his song using the instrument. Small details, but that's what I love about the side quest. And I think that the game is very, very strong at building these little world building things all over it. I do think every time you go to a village and stuff, even though a lot of them look ridiculous in their outfits, they all have a different visual identity, and it's kind of like you could go, oh yeah, I know the different tribe. You are from a different tribe from this person. That world building stuff, I think, is really, really strong.
Also, the stakes are low enough to then feel personal and then feel like it's actually affecting that world. You are living and breathing in that amazing world. So it feels like the best moments of the games are that. Plus, the tribe people all just have one nip out all the time. Did you see? They all just had they covered everything but just had a nip out. So I don't know who made that costume design.
They wouldn't do well on Twitch.
That's true. I was worried streaming it.
So that is how we feel about Horizon Forbidden West. Lots of good. Bit of bad, and optimistic for the future as long as we're on a spaceship with Beta. But we also ran this out with the competition. We ran a competition with you guys for you to win. You get to win a mug, a back pocket mug, and a copy of next month's Game Club game, which we will announce at the end of this. The competition was, if Back Pocket ventured into the Forbidden West, what would we find? Peter, can you start us off with our first runner-up? A reminder, runners-up get nothing except for praise.
Oh, okay.
So
And
heap
I'll
on
read
that
it in a
praise.
funny voice.
Oh, Jesus.
As I approach through a bunch of shrubs, I notice a group. Many ask them, naked from the waist up. Many of them naked from the waist up. Clothed or not, there are strange symbols I don't recognize, made from what seems to be an alien material stuck to everyone. They are all chanting, "A 17th!" Is it an omen of things to come? Or a tradition continued by participants that don't even know why they're doing it? Many of the folk are now ripping off the strange sticky substance. This elicits cries of pain, while those chanting cheer along. It seems the more hair that is removed, louder the cheers, and I have snow on my eyelashes.
Well, that was from Starexian.
Who hates that they wrote that in now?
What a performance.
Having that read out.
Still showing more character than Aloy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Nicholas Saw was another runner-up and has said when discovering the Backpocket tribe in the Forbidden West, they're gathered round a campfire, roasting pockety on a stick. Their mounts are geese that can't fly.
It's true. Robot geese.
They can't fly? Very good.
Steph.
Yeah. Okay, so this runner-up comes from Jules J. Yay, Jules J.
No, they get nothing.
Except the love of errand.
Ooh.
Everyone. Yes, everyone. Including those who ordinarily
better than my
don't
Aloy.
grow a lot of facial hair, sports a beautiful handlebar mustache,
Oh, good.
and a well-kept mohawk with shaved sides. There is a banner strung up over the encampment with the words, "Errand is the best character, not just in Horizon, but in all video games, and could certainly beat Master Chief in a fight, by decree of tribe leader Peter Burns."
Holy shit, you're very good at that.
That was such a good impression.
Very good.
Such a good impression.
Spot on.
It is terrifying. Now do Tiny Tina. Say baby.
I haven't played that game.
Oh, God. I will tell you. I know this is, it's all out of sync, but it's fucking 10 past 10 or whatever. Who gives a shit? One thing with Tiny Tina's Wonderland that annoyed me is it does that thing of, I always run in a video game. I never walk anywhere. You're always running, right? Always running. The dialogue, it triggers and then it just trips over itself because you've already hit the next dialogue trigger. And it's
if
like,
you run too far ahead, it'll
account for the fact that I am always running.
Yeah.
I will always be running.
Yeah,
That's
totally,
crazy.
totally.
Okay. And the winner for the Horizon Forbidden West Backpocket competition. If Backpocket ventured into the Forbidden West, what would we find? The winner is Nax Cole, who says, all of them are naked in a mech suit. Only Nick is enjoying it.
Bravo.
That's good.
Well
Very
done.
good.
Bravo, Nax Cole.
Very good.
You get more than our praise.
If we're all naked in mech suits, do you see us and we're all like, our heads are sticking out of mech suits and we're all like, you can see there's discomfort. You can't see we're nude, but we are nude in it.
You're thinking Ace Ventura 2, head out of the
rhino.
Yeah, I'm like, oh God, I wish I was wearing an
no,
undergarment.
you can see our head is sticking out and just one nipple.
Just one nipple. Always just one
Good.
nipple.
The people of Plain Song decree.
So thank you, Nax Cole. Ben will be in touch to get your details and we will send you a mug and a copy of next month's Game Club game, which we may not need to send you because that game will be on Game Pass. And the game that we are going to play for next month's game, so we'll buy you a different game instead, it's going to be, we happy with this?
A game that
I don't know, because
it's a game that we both thought we could split up all the
Yeah,
campaigns and all play
the
separately.
concept of it was fun.
Okay, no, that's fine. You could have stopped me at any point.
No, I know. It now seems like a good time. Let's say what it is.
Yeah.
And then we're going to...
We can change our minds if we want.
We totally can.
We've done it before.
We'll do it again.
Set precedent. The game could be Weird West.
Could be Weird West.
I put my hand in the ring to say I think Weird West is a good choice. That even with the fact that, because we initially thought that you would be able to play as different characters from the beginning and choose any order for this story, but you need to go through linearly.
Perfect.
But I think the playthroughs could be varied enough that there is some difference there. But we'll see.
Good point. I'm definitely going to play it. So yeah. But we'll look at that and just see time-wise.
Yeah, we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. God, this has been a monster episode. It's 10 o'clock.
Crikey.
We've been playing this for 3 hours. We still need to watch 2 episodes of Halo. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for watching Back Pocket. Thank you, of course, to the mods for making the Discord such an incredible place to be. Gats, Syntax, Eric, Kid Carnage, Liz Dahlia, Sithcat, Finish the Line, Disturb778, Jax, Caboose, and What the Shark. Goodness, you keep us so safe in this environment. And then you also sufficiently mean to the people who need to be meaned to. Thank you as well to our Back Pocket patrons who make the show possible. A huge thanks to our top stitchers. You know who you are, and you all know who they are thanks to their delightful and devilishly ads. But we've got a round of applause for them because it's a special thanks to all our patrons. Oranishi, you a Nishi? He's a Nishi. We're all a Nishi. Mason is one of my son's friends. So I assume it's Mason watching and not Nathan. Hi, Mason. Tell your mum that we accidentally took your jumper home from that play date last week. I think Mason must have put it in Banjo's bag by mistake. So I'll pop around after kindy tomorrow and drop it off. You'll have to tell me that recipe for those veggie muffins, though. They were just wonderful.
Nick, slow down, take a breath. You said Nason just then, so just...
That's Banjo's friend, Nason.
Oh, fuck. Nason?
You don't know.
No, it's Mason, not Nason.
You said...
Slowpunk. He's like a fart in an elevator. Silent but deadly. Good. Akarash is what I said last week when I brushed up against some poison ivy. Akarash. Nicrotex. I'd kiss him. Boxy, like an 80s family car. It's boxy.
Yep. Perfect.
Boxy like a car. Coastal City can't watch live on Thursday, so we can say whatever we want and chat about it. Quick, everyone say what you really think about Coastal and never know. VegaBus, paid for and sponsored by the We Like to Party. It's the same one as last time, but it's just too much fun to say. Hey, Timothy, I'm walking here. Jep, join the dog army. That'll make sense one day. Evil Spy Boy is watching you right now. He's in your house. He's under your weighted blankets. We Are Robots makes the controllers of your dreams. Dream PC makes the PCs of your dreams. Toxichalk is the man of my dreams. BuriBuri has entered some sort of arms race with me where I say something on the show and she makes it commercial. That seems like a terrible use of time for a talented lawyer, but it makes some damn good content. And finally, Mr. Gorbachev. Tear down this Woolsey.
Oh, fuck. We are at that point.
Wow.
Oh, God. And you know what I realized? We forgot something as well.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh, if you could dream it, you could buy it at Dream PC, baby. You can dream it, we build it. Woo! We wanted to get it right at the end where we knew that people would be like, the people watching now, they love PCs. What do you want, Gus?
This is the time when people are about to go to sleep. So it's the end of the show, so this is the perfect time to promote Dream PC because we're really going to get into your mind now, and so you'll fall asleep. First thing you dream of, PC.
Buy a computer in sort of like that half, just before you fall asleep, hazy. Oh, fine, I'll get it and I'll deal with it in the morning.
Do that thing where you're just falling asleep and then you just wake yourself up a little bit. You go, fucking PC.
And then buy a
Doing a lot of
computer.
performing under a card.
I know. I realized that you're really getting into it. Bring the card back up.
All right, here goes the card.
Configure PCs via their website, bespoke systems built to order, authorized Australian market parts, and live updates via their excellent build tracker. They have a phenomenal warranty. Go to dreampc.com.au. Go.dreampc.com.au/backpocket to learn more information there. They are who you want to go to if you're buying a new computer. Some of you I know are looking at buying a computer. Use Dream PC. They're great. And then also, if you don't want to buy a new computer and you just want to win one, you can also go to Dream PC and you can win a $2,400 computer just by entering their Gleam.io competition. There should be a link in Nightbot in there it is right now, dreampc.com.au/free PC, and you can get the PC of your dreams for free. And that's a real dream.
And now's a great time to actually winning would be amazing at any time. But I was talking to Mad Dog, who I don't know if he's watching tonight, but about the fact that video cards are now priced properly again. As of 36 hours ago.
Wow.
You can get like a 3060 for $600. You can get a 3080 for like $1,400 again.
What happened?
Did they hit a vein of whatever material
silicon,
it is they use? They're like,
we hit a vein of 3080s.
So it's probably like the most cynical angle is that we've been bled long enough and the announcement of the 40 series is actually due. So we're going to get an announcement soon.
It's a relentless merry-go-round.
The market is collapsing. A 3070 Ti for $1,000 says Charcoal. So if hopefully crypto and NFTs are done. And that's the real reason. They've stopped fucking
the nightmare is over. Yeah.
But probably not. But it is pretty affordable to get yourself an upgrade to your video card if you are desperate for one.
And also for the people who are like, I don't want to get it because the 40 series is coming out, or the 4 series or whatever, it's 4000s. It so doesn't matter. Like, get the 30s. They're going to last you years. Like, the 40s will be great, but the 30s are phenomenal. And if you get it cheap, they're going to last for ages. It's a great deal. Do it. Do it at dreampc.com.au/dreampc.
There's a joke in there about the people. The 30s are great. The 40s are going to be even better. It's like, no, really.
No. But the 2020s, they'll be free too. Okay. Can we stop talking for 5 minutes so that we can start talking in a different show? Speaking of which, if you're an eligible patron, come behind the paywallsy for the post show. I needed to put that one in there.
Come behind the paywallsy.
Yeah.
I forgot that we have the post.
I know.
I don't know how comfortable I am with the sentence "come behind the paywallsy."
We should talk about the.
I mean, come.
Save it for the post show.